I have here, I have them fill out a questionnaire. It's the first time we've ever done this. In addition to all the pre-show notes we have, it's a lot, so we probably won't be able to get to everything. I have them do a little circle for all my toxic positions that they disagree with. The first one, though, that we're going to start with is the bear. So going around the table, would you rather cross paths with a man or a bear in the forest? Random man, random bear.
Like literally, we're being so literal right now. I would have to say, I don't want to say that though.
Well, what did you write on the?
I think I left it blank, to be honest with you.
You did leave it blank.
I just looked at it and I was like,
you do have to answer though.
It's not a hard question.
And by the way,
I feel like this is a bad comparison, to be completely honest though. So like,
you're not allowed to change your answer. Whatever you wrote here, you have to say it.
Like, are we talking about like any man?
Random. Okay, so it's a random man.
A random man?
Okay, look, here's the scenario.
Because I was taught to run from a bear, so I know how to run from a bear.
Is it a brown bear or a white bear?
It's a pink bear.
Oh, then a bear.
Hold on. Here's the scenario, okay? I mean, it was already kind of written, but...
You said you could have just read it, but...
You randomly spawn in the forest. You randomly spawn.
Just there.
Okay. Then 2 buttons spawn in front of you. One of them would spawn a random man. The other spawns a random bear. So you get to pick which one spawns. So
I would say a bear.
No, you can't change your answer. You got whatever you wrote here. You have to say what it. So just answer whatever you wrote in the thing.
I only say a bear because my family used to go bear hunting, so I know how to run from a bear.
Okay, so you pick bear.
Yeah.
All right.
I picked bear.
Okay.
I said depends on the man.
Well, it's a random man you don't know.
That's why I'm
bear.
scared.
Okay.
I picked bear.
Bear.
Man, because I thought he was manly when I read it. I didn't know that it was going to be some random scrawny
Does it change?
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, so now bear.
It depends on who it is, but yeah.
No, but it's a random, so it could be.
Then I don't trust that he's, I guess, a strong, hunky man.
It could randomly be.
Wait, wouldn't that be worse?
Could be a scary man,
if
a
he's
weak
strong...
man.
An elderly
No, that's
man.
good because then he can protect me.
No. It's not a bear and a man. He's not protecting you from the bear. There's either a man or a bear.
Like you're one-on-one with a man or a bear.
Oh, I was thinking like just he could protect me in any situation in the woods. That's
Let's just
what I meant.
assume.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Absent.
It'd be bad to
That's
be
a
alone with
really
a man.
that's a really strange answer anyway. Like, what if the random man spawned and he's like, "Oh, I don't give a shit about you. Protect yourself."
That's a possibility. Yeah.
He gives you to the bear.
He
It was
finds a
like,
bear.
my chances of surviving in this forest without you greatly increase.
Yeah. Why didn't I
So instead,
trust my
I'm
survival
going to
instincts
just
over
leave you here.
Okay, I guess I picked bear then.
I said man, but I changed my answer to bear.
I thought we couldn't change our answer.
Okay.
I say man all the way.
Wait, so bear.
Can I change my answer?
Bear.
Yeah.
World chamber.
What, you want to change it?
Yeah, but
Why?
you said we couldn't, so I was sticking with the script.
Okay, but originally you wrote bear.
Yeah, originally I wrote
so why
bear.
did you change?
'Cause it might be a grizzly bear, and I don't fuck with those.
See,
and
that's
I'd
why I
rather
asked
fuck with a
what kind of
stranger in the woods than a grizzly bear.
Okay. So those of you, 2 questions then. Those of you who said bear, why? Like why do you pick the bear? And then why don't you pick the man?
See, I would pick the man if I could have the choice of man, but since I don't have the choice, I pick bear because...
Wait, can you tilt your mic down a little bit? Yeah. There you
Okay,
go. Go ahead.
yeah. But I say pick bear because like humans sometimes are unpredictable, and if it's a random person, I don't know what they're gonna do. And a bear, like, they're just nature. They just probably will run at you, and you kind of just...
Yeah. So just so I understand this correctly, essentially I think what you're saying is with the man, while the bear could kill you, with the man could also kill you. He could also assault you in other ways. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, but the bear might be nice and might kill me. I
Okay,
don't know.
we'll come back to that. What about you? Why do you pick the bear? Why don't you pick the man?
I have 2 answers.
Sure.
Why I picked the bear, I grew up in rural Arizona, so I feel like I went camping all the time, seen lots of bears. I feel comfortable in that situation, for one. And then 2, a random man and a random bear. A man could potentially take away my dignity and then kill me, whereas a bear will just kill me. So.
I mean, or like eat you and let you die slowly.
Well, I mean, a man could do that too.
Sure. But have you encountered a bear before?
I have, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many men have you encountered?
A lot. There's
Hundreds of thousands?
I deal with men all the time for my job.
Yeah, but like just walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like how many men do you think you've like just walked by?
I'm not entirely
Millions?
sure. I wouldn't say millions.
Maybe you were in a classroom, start adding these up. You were in a...
But I mean thousands at least, right?
Certainly
But
thousands, right?
It doesn't matter the statistic of how many men I've gone past, because if we're being quite honest, the amount of men who have done horrible things to me is pretty high of those situations.
What's the percentage?
enough for me to not feel safe around men by myself.
Not to feel safe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before we'll get everybody's answers before we get into any of the details. So, what about you?
What was the question?
Okay. Why you pick the bear?
Okay.
And why don't you pick the man?
I think the bear is more predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And with the man, I have questions. Why is he alone in the middle of the woods? What,
But,
you know?
okay.
Why am I alone with him? I don't know what he's going to
Well,
do.
here, I don't think this is going to change your answer, but in the scenario I gave, he randomly spawns.
Yeah.
So you click the thing, man. Oh, what am I doing here? What the fuck? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's no
This could be a guy who's Saudi Arabian.
He's
This
not
could be
just
a guy
wandering.
who comes in directly from North Korea, or this could be a guy who's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, working the night shift at Ralph's, right? So that's what you're dealing
There's
with.
not like a motivation as to why he's in the woods, really.
Okay, I still...
Wait, actually, I do want to. Do you think men who are in real life, who do go into the woods, or go on hikes, do you think, what percentage of those men are going to that environment with this express intent to go victimize a woman?
I have no idea, but I love camping and I car camp often. And I've had times where there was just a random man looking in my car and just standing in front of my car.
Sure,
I
that's weird.
don't trust it. So
Okay,
bear.
something bad happened. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. All right. What about you?
I initially put bear,
Oh, you're switching your answer.
but I switched it to man.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your genuine new
You
position.
know, I think physicality wise, I trust myself to be able to defend myself against a man, irregardless of the weight or stature, versus taking a chance on an animal, a
Okay.
wild animal.
But you're still, even if you pick the man, you're still assuming that the man poses a risk, essentially.
No, I mean, not intuitively, not innately. Maybe
Yeah.
if you.
Okay, sure. What about you?
I mean, I don't feel safe hiking alone.
Sure.
So I would not feel safe with a man in the woods because they are the higher percentage of psychopaths as well.
So it's also, what percentage of men are psychopaths? Because it's a random man.
Over women, it's in the 90s. 90.
Wait, 90% of men are psychopaths?
Not 90% of men, but over women.
No, that's not true. Psychopathy doesn't even exist. Psychopathy is not in any American psychological book, any of the DSMs. Psychopathy is not even there.
I saw something
Other
that-
things you would associate with psychopathy doesn't even exist.
Let's just grant it, though. What percentage of men are psychopaths?
I just saw something that you walk by a certain amount of psychopaths on the street and the percentage higher is men.
Yeah, but what percent?
I don't know, but I mean, you could look at serial killer statistics and they're mostly men. So you could, I guess, make a percentage off of that.
I mean, so if I don't understand though. So let's say the percentage is 0.0001 in women and it's 0.0002 in men. I like that. That would be technically
I think I meant
it's a
just
higher
more serial
percentage,
killers, which are all psychopaths.
which is super rare. You know how rare serial killers are. What percentage
Well,
of
and women are also very much. It's up in the air how many women are serial killers because they kill stealthily versus overtly. So, especially in nursing, healthcare, things like this, when they're in positions of caretaker roles, that's when women tend to kill the most. Men, on the other hand, they just do it much more violently, right?
Yeah,
So-
I was talking about in the woods, technically.
But so what? Give us what's the percentage of serial killers? I guess now.
We could look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Do you think it's less than 1%
Of what?
of the male
population.
population
I
is
feel
less
like
than
1% is a lot, so probably, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You think? So you went to high school, right?
Yeah, I
How big-
graduated college.
How big was your high school?
2,000 people.
Your class or the whole, all 4
My
years?
class.
So there were 8,000 people at your
Yeah,
high
I
school?
went to a big high school.
Okay, so 4,000. So
So I'll give you the clarification, Brian, real quick.
yeah.
Roughly 1.2% of adult men in the United States are considered to have clinically significant levels of what are considered psychopathic traits, compared to 0.7% of adult women. However, the traits which they consider to be psychopathic does not actually make you a psychopath, right? So they're looking at things like, hang on, let me pull up the traits here. It would be things like communication, other things like lack of empathy, but these things are lower in men anyway, and those things on their own don't actually create the conditionals for any type of borderline personality disorder. So hard to say exactly, but even by the metric, it seems that while it is true that men would slightly outnumber them, this seems like it's a trait problem. We're associating it with traits that are more masculine.
Yeah, violence. Yeah.
But so what percentage of men do you think are serial killers?
It's very low. I know I shouldn't have brought up the percentage thing. I was just saying that they outnumber the women.
Well,
So I wouldn't feel
suppose,
safe
but
in the woods with them.
okay. All right. What about you?
I just think like men are unpredictable, and I think
Unpredictable,
bear,
okay.
yeah, bear is predictable.
Bear predictable? Okay. And then I don't think you picked bear. This is a point Andrew's brought up before. To those of, I think you said predictable, unpredictable. Just curious. So if you walked up to a man and patted him on the head versus walking up to bear and patted the bear on the head, maybe a little rough, a little hard. Which one do you think is going to react more violently towards you?
Is this the same thing, a random man?
Am I saying it?
Yeah, random man, or random bear. If you just walked over to any random guy, like right now in Santa Barbara, you were just walking down the street and you walked over to some random guy and you just patted him on the head, versus if you're walking down the street in Santa Barbara and you walked over to a black bear and patted it on the head. What do you think the outcome difference would be?
It's the bear. The
Yeah.
bear's predictable.
Wait, no, she picks the bear.
It's
No,
the
I know
bear.
you pick the bear, but if you patted the bear on the head versus patting the random guy on the head, what do you think the result would be? The result difference would be? Do you think that the bear would, I don't know, if you went over and tried to pat it on the head, perhaps eat your face, whereas the man would not, likely?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
But if I'm in the middle of the forest or woods and a bear and a man spawn, I'm not going to pat either of them on the head.
Yeah, but which
Yeah.
one would pose a bigger threat if you were to do this?
Obviously a bear, but that wasn't the original question.
Yeah.
Sure, but I mean, it helps
Prove a point.
further kind of articulate
It helps
the
matter.
risk factor here. But and then what do you pick, I guess, or your thoughts on that?
I guess it kind of supports your theory. Like the questions are like supporting your theory on how, like, I think like a man could do a lot of things. He could kill you. He could essay. It could be a lot of different things. But a bear, yes, could kill you. Yes, it would be the bear.
Can I
Yeah.
say something?
One quick question, then I'll let you come right in. Just one other follow-up question here. I'm assuming a lot of you guys, either directly or implied, there's a risk when it comes to the men. You're fearful of SA with this man alone in the forest. So my question is, what percentage of men do you think would be inclined to victimize you in this way?
I don't think they feel inclined. This is going to
Well-
sound terrible. I just feel like some men don't know that they're even doing it. Like they genuinely are just so ignorant to what they're doing. They're in their world. They're living in it.
Well, this would not be like a date grape scenario.
Yeah, I know.
So this is like he would have to like essentially violently assault you in this.
So we're talking about violently assault. Because if, like, say if I'm at a bar and like a guy like comes by, he like touches my ass, and he just keeps grabbing, he might think that if like I don't turn around and say something, that he's just allowed to keep touching me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like I feel like sometimes they think that they're entitled. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're sexually assaulting someone, but they don't even realize. Like, so I'm not saying like I don't know.
sometimes I think also men think that it doesn't matter how many no's they get as long as they get a yes, or as long as you stop saying no. And that's not the same as a yes.
Or as long as you don't say anything.
Yeah, as long as you don't say anything.
Not all men, but some men.
Some men.
Like I'm not
Okay,
saying that
yeah,
all
so-
men,
but
but,
that's what
like
I'm-
I think a lot of men just genuinely don't know what they're doing, and that and the harm that they're doing because they're just feeding their own ego in a way.
Okay, so I mean, even I suppose granting your expanded definitions of, or granting the definition, how your definition, excuse me, mumbling over my words here, granting how you view these certain crimes or whatever, going ahead and granting that, what percentage of men are going to do that in a given situation then, I suppose?
I'll say 40%.
40%, okay.
For me, it doesn't matter percentage. If there's even a 1% possibility, I would rather die by a bear than be raped. Even if it was 1%
Well, let's try to use
sorry,
like
essay.
essay. That's
Sorry,
fine.
essay. Even if it was 1%.
Yeah, but you don't think it's 1%, do you?
I don't know what the percentage
What do you think it is?
of men that would do that would be capable.
So it's a random man out of the population.
Random man.
So what percentage of men in the population do you think would do this or would be inclined to doing that in the scenario presented?
In that exact scenario, I don't know, maybe 20, maybe like 15. It's
Okay,
not. It's
we'll say
not,
20. We'll
yeah.
say 20. What do you think?
I don't know the percentage, but I remember when I was in college reading something that's saying that like 1 in every 4 college student females will be essayed or something like that. So I'm going to say it's maybe 2%. I don't know.
Okay, before we get into okay, go ahead.
It's how
So 25% for you. You said 1 in 4, so you're going off that, so 25%.
I mean, not everyone's in college. I don't know. I'm just going to say 2% because I have no idea.
Wait, 2%?
Yeah.
2% is a lot different than 1 in 4.
It is, but in college you're going out, you're partying. I'm trying to consider that, so I'm just going to say 2%.
All right, 2%. All right.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, so it's what percentage I feel any given man is inclined to aggressively act out, just 2%.
Okay.
Like 10 or 15.
10 or 15?
More than 1%, definitely. So
Yeah, good. Well,
Yeah.
okay, more than 1% could be 99%.
Okay,
it could be-
2%.
Okay. And then you didn't pick pear.
Men make me feel safe. Like, not all men, but like
Sure.
whoever my other person is, as long as they make me feel safe.
Yeah. Wait, so I'm actually kind of surprised because Andrew, we've asked this frequently. This is one of the first times we've had such low numbers given.
Those were pretty high numbers.
Well,
I mean.
Andrew, a couple of girls said 1%, 2%. That's low comparatively speaking. But we did get a 40% from you and a 20% from you.
I said like 15 or 20.
15 or 20. Okay. So you said 40%.
But with the question, I was the first to answer. Did you mean like literally initiate or just like to think about doing stuff like that? Because I answered on basically like, do men have those thoughts and want and are entitled to do it?
You think I would still think 40% of men want, like they're fantasizing about essaying women. I still think that's pretty high, but
or being with women they can't have. So yeah, that's what the conversation.
wait, y'all, hold on, wait, that's a little different. Fantasizing about a woman that they can't have. Don't y'all fantasize about like
Well, that's not what I
men who
meant.
y'all can't ever have? Fucking NFL players, athletes, famous musicians. No, you don't have like a celebrity crush.
No, I do not.
That's fucking bullshit, y'all.
It's a
In
part
any
of my
case-
disorder.
hold
I
on.
literally
In any
do
case,
not.
I don't think it's like. Are you saying it's like mental essay for a guy
No,
to
what I was
have a
saying-
sexual fantasy with like a famous woman or something?
No, I
What?
thought you were saying they have those thoughts. That's it.
What
That was
thoughts?
all.
So what do you think? What do you
Essay
think
thoughts.
what do you think one of the most common, if not the most common, sexual fantasy of women is?
I don't know.
I know.
I have no idea.
That's actually a really good argument, Andrew. That's
is
a
it?
fantastic
What do you think
argument.
it is?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Maybe you're referring to
dark. It's real dark.
incels. Were you talking about
Very
guys that can't get
See?
sex and then they lash
She
out because of
knows.
violence?
They know too.
I was just
like
more
that-
just the entitlement to women. I just said 40%.
Everybody's answering the question.
Can I jump in there?
What do you think the most
turn just
common
I feel bad.
sexual fantasy of a woman is?
I don't know.
I know.
A British
It's
accent.
Yeah, definitely.
the word it's.
Dominance.
but
Bingo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean it's
No, it's much more
It's,
than that. I
uh,
think it's much more than that.
they have grape fantasies.
Thought men
It's
have
very-
those more.
Not all. I don't. Like I don't. Like
I'm
so.
just gonna hang on. I'm just gonna go off the facts here. All right, we'll make sure that we all get it right. Number 10, strangers in the night. 9, group sex. 7, laying you out on display for other people to see, meaning you're having sex in front of other people. 6, sexually ravaged. 5, or I'm sorry,
that's
4,
not it.
to leave it as a tip. And then 2, strap on, I'm going in. That's pretty brutal, right?
The fuck is it?
And then number 1 is SA fantasies. Number 1.
That doesn't mean
There was not a single thing I think you said that I fantasize about. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
Well, okay, while that could be true, I just want you to understand that there's all sorts of things, which I'm sure would be attributed to the majority of men, that perhaps could not be attributed to me. Here's a really good one. I have blue eyes. That's really, really, really rare in men, right? But that has nothing to do with how common brown eyes are, right? So even though I don't fit the mold, it doesn't really mean anything. I'm not saying anybody here has fantasies of being SA'd. I'm just saying that it's the number 1 fantasy.
Well, it is what it is. I
You got
guess.
something on this?
Yeah, this was a lot. For one, he just said that was a list of women's fantasies.
Top 10 reported by women, yeah.
Now, remember previously how I told you that women say something and do something else? Now, if you ask the common women, they just said that's their biggest fear. But you just did a poll that's their biggest fantasy. So you see how women can say one thing and think and do something totally different? So I just want to say that. 2, it's very alarming that women would rather take a chance with a wild animal who is extremely unpredictable over a man who can possibly not do none of those things. That there is a potential with a man. There is no potential with the bear. None. He's going to kill you or kill you later. So for women to pick the bear over a man who can potentially build a fort with you, make a campfire, and just totally assume he's going to hurt you, it's just very disturbing that women have these, or at least they say they have these fantasies that men would just do this. They just assume such negativity about men. It's just kind of disturbing to hear that. It's like, I would never take a chance with a wild, ravaging bear than a human being without having a chance to, I can't even talk to the bear. You can at least bargain with the man, maybe. You just discarded the common interest of talking over a savage beast. It's just crazy how women think today. No offense.
I think it's disturbing that we've been in positions where we feel that way.
Yeah.
Rather than.
Wait, can I? Go ahead. Do you have
I mean, I do.
Andrew sent you text.
Yeah, that's what. Like, but that sounds good. But according to the list, the number one fantasy of women is the thing that you all are saying that you hate.
That doesn't mean we want it to
I
happen
don't,
to
I
us
don't
in real
believe you
life.
do. I don't believe you do. I'm just saying. It's just a it just shows the duplicitous, contradictory nature of women that I spoke of earlier.
But
If you
I
follow,
also have
I'm
to
gonna
argue
let y'all
with you,
retort.
though.
Let him
I'm gonna let
finish,
y'all
let him
retort. I'm not saying y'all feel this way. I'm just saying it's just proof of the contradictory nature of following what women say as according to what they do. Because if I feel like most women should feel how y'all feel, but according to his poll, the number one thing was the most appalling thing that they're saying out of their mouths, and it's just contradictory. Like when that movie Shades of Grey came out, women love that shit.
A fantasy isn't a safe situation. It actually happening in an abusive way is not something you're saying.
How is
okay
assault a fantasy?
And also, let me add to this: a lot of SA victims will fantasize
Over trauma.
their trauma, even though it was a bad experience for them. They then fetishize their own trauma.
As a man, I would never fetishize somebody beating
And
me.
you're a
That's
man.
the
We are
man,
women.
yeah.
I don't. Like I say, what y'all saying, what y'all do is two different things. It don't make
I would
sense.
also
I don't see how you can fantasize about something that you put on that you deem is so negative. That
You don't
doesn't make any
understand,
sense
but
to
it's
me.
just
And
genuinely
there's men
science.
that's been
like it
essayed
is.
that do fantasize over.
No,
this.
they end up being.
Yes.
Well,
they end up being
well-
that. They turn all the way over. That's what they do.
I would
It
also
can
like
go
to
both
ask, I
ways.
guess, what is the percentage of these, like this statistic that we got in from the poll? How many women, what country were they from, what age demographics were
Yeah,
they?
this is,
Like, there's just so many other questions. How many
centered
women?
around I'll tell you the answers to that. So this is centered around mostly the Western world. These polls were done between Australia, Western Europe, and the United States, Canada, things like this. And the way that they gathered the data was from dating sites, for the most part. They gathered them from dating sites. Women tend to be more honest in the background of those, and so do men, and that's how they can gather up different preferences. And also, what women commonly search for when they're looking for, corn, for instance. What they're searching for there, you can gather the data that way as well. And this is what we come up with. Now, men got all kinds of freaky shit too. Don't get me wrong, right? They got all kinds, like the thing that they one of their top searches, pretty gross, right? But so I understand the both sides thing, right? I'm not even necessarily saying. I've always thought that the thing about this that was so bothersome to me, in a different way, is that women most commonly say, "Well, if a man spawned in the forest, when they say I would choose him over the bear, he's going to protect me." And I've always thought, well, that's a pretty assumed entitlement, right? It's pretty assumed entitlement that you just instantly assume any man in the forest has some obligation to protect you. Like, I would just be like, well, I'm spawned in with you, but I don't know you. Good luck. Hope you don't die. I'm getting out of this forest now. See you later. But it's always, that has always been the detail of the answer that has bothered me. I understand why. So here, I'll give you an example. Let me give this question back the other way to Brian Atlas and to the gentleman who's there. Would you rather be spawned into the forest with a random bear or with a gay prisoner? Random gay prisoner. So there's no. It could possibly be that he has no intention, of course, of essaying you because it's random, right? But also is the chance that he could. Would you prefer to be spawned in with the bear or with the gay prisoner? Random gay prisoner, by the way.
Gay prisoner.
Gay prisoner.
Gay prisoner. I take the gay prisoner.
Was he gay
What do you
before
take?
he
You
went
take
to
a gay
prison?
I'm gonna take the human every time because we can. I don't have to do nothing with you, but you're a human. You have arms and legs. You can help me pick some shit up. Like I can't do nothing with no bed.
100%.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable to me. It's within the confines of reason. It's like, okay, but now they're in the same position you're in. So now they could easily also be overpowered by this person. This person, they even have more information. They know that this person likely has more volatility than the average person. And they are in the same kind of vulnerable position. But according to reason, they go, well, but the chances are still way better, even with a gay prisoner, than they would be with a bear. So this is how you're taking your position, putting it on them, but the answer is far different. And so you kind of wonder why that is. In fact, I would even go so far as to say this. Somebody said with the essay, the dignity aspect. That's terrible for women when they get essayed, absolutely. But think about it from a man's perspective. For a man's dignity, that's brutal as well. And so yet they're still willing to take the chance the other direction. And so it makes you wonder why.
And
Makes you
really
wonder
quick,
why
Andrew,
Personal
I
preference.
think even granting if this gay prisoner is like 30% faster and stronger than you still take it.
You still take it,
Yeah.
I think that you can continue with the conditionals to the point where it almost would seem more reasonable to take the bear. Most men would still take the idea of the gay prisoner because they're just looking at the chances of if a random gay prisoner spawned in with you, this person can at least be reasoned with, and a bear's going to eat your face, right?
Yeah, and I just felt, like I said, it's just real disturbing, this assumed negativity when it comes to men. Like, even when he brought up the poll of the women, your first response was, well, where they from? It's like, when it comes to these lists with women, all this nuance is required. But when it comes to men, it's just assumed that they're going to do that. But you don't ask, well, what's his upbringing? What's his mentality? Like, where is he from? No, those questions are not asked when it comes to men. When it comes to women, it's like, we need all this nuance. And it's just like, I feel like modern women live in this world between fear and fantasy.
I want
They
to bring
watch-
up something
Hold on,
about the
hold on,
poll
hold on.
when you're done.
They're in this, even when it comes to stuff that women watch. Women like to watch a lot of, romantic films of these fantastical situations that never happen. And then on the contrary, they like to watch horror and all these crimes of when men are just doing these diabolical things to women. It's like, if you're constantly feeding your mind fear and fantasy, you're not dealing with reality, which is in neither one of these worlds. And I just feel like you could just tell when you ask women certain questions that they just really think the worst of men. It's just embedded in y'all. I don't know what's going on today.
I think.
I'm-
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Oh, bingo, got it,
Feminism.
forgot.
I'm
yeah.
going to go out on a limb and assume that the ladies that are answering these polls when it comes to the essay, they're thinking about, okay, I'm fantasizing about someone who is dominant, who is handsome, who maybe it's, I don't know, someone wealthy that's
I don't
just
think we're really
dominating me
interested in the poll so
versus,
far. We're more interested in
versus
their
a random
conversation.
man that's coming and attacking you.
I respect that, but you're still just making an excuse because it's a woman instead of just dealing with what it is. Like,
I'm not making an excuse.
no, you are,
I'm
because
making an
you
assumption.
added mad stuff to it. You added that she's rich and anybody.
Kind of like you've done earlier.
What did I add? Give me an example.
Like when we were watching the video and you were talking about it.
Give me
Like,
an example. Because you said that I'm assuming that a woman who fantasizes about being assaulted is talking about a man who's handsome and tall. You don't want to be assaulted by somebody you're attracted to. So that doesn't make sense to me. Anybody that you appeal to,
wanna
you
be
don't want
assaulted
them
by
to
anyone.
assault you. That doesn't make sense to me.
There
I
was
don't see how that
one
makes
question
sense.
that didn't get answered. How many women answered in total in the world? How many women answered that poll with that answer?
I'm assuming it was.
I don't know what the total of them are. I
Because
don't think it
that's-
matters. Hang on.
it
Yeah, I
does.
don't think it. Hang on. I'm trying to answer.
Okay, sorry.
So I'm not sure that would matter. All you would need is to have a statistical enough sample size that it was statistically significant, and the studies that I'm reading say that their sample sizes are statistically significant.
Another thing, who is funding those studies?
Well, most of these are funded by women's clinics, though many of them I would have to look into the background. But most of the time, studies are funded by progressive institutions, not conservative ones. So I don't see how there would be a publishing bias against women exactly.
Because sometimes there occasionally is, depending on who puts on the study.
Oh,
But
related to that, I have a quick question. She cited this like commonly perpetuated statistic in colleges, 1 in 4. Are you prepared to make the same sort of criticism over the
no, because
the
I've looked
methods?
into that
Oh,
number.
you've looked into that.
I
one.
have.
Okay.
I actually have.
Yeah,
I'm
and is
familiar.
Is it valid?
I think that it is very.
So 1
very
in 4
valid.
women have been like full blown essayed.
Yeah, I would say more than that.
What do you think about the
of women in
DOJ?
my
What do you
life.
think about the like official like FBI and DOJ statistics?
I
Where
would
they
s-
actually like they're collecting actual crime data instead of polling random. Like they're actually analyzing the
Yeah, here's
crime
the,
statistics.
here's the data point that backs up Brian. The data point is that when polled, college students who are male give significantly higher numbers of being SA'd than women do.
All I was trying to mention with the poll is that you said that it was gathered from dating apps. Many women are not on
Some of
dating
them.
apps.
Sometimes.
I've never been on a
Research has
dating
done
app.
these. Many different people have done these. One such study that you can look at, National Institute of Health. These are government studies. Though they don't tell you some of the information that you're asking, and I would have to look into the undercurrent. And I think that that's fair, right, to ask who's conducting the studies and why. They do seem to be statistically significant. So hang on. A team of researchers based University of North Texas and Notre Dame studied 355 women. That's statistically significant. A part of the research involved participants being able to read R-word fantasy scenario over headphones to investigate how aroused they became. In the study published, the Academic Journal of Sexual Behavior participants were the number of how many did was kind of staggering, right? So that's just one study, one aspect of this study, but there's other ways that this research is conducted. I can't give you all the details because I don't know them, but it does seem like it's a fairly firm fact that this is pretty common.
Also, the 1 in 4 study, it included things like, for example, catcalling. It included catcalling. It also included, were one of the parties, did they have more than one alcoholic beverage? So they counted consensual sex, but if even both of the parties had more than 1 or 2 drinks, they counted that as SA. Do you think
So-
that that's SA if like?
If someone is if
No.
someone is
Wait, absolutely?
intoxicated-
Who said absolutely?
I mean, if both parties are under the influence, is that what you're saying?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I guess they're both
If
SA.
both parties has had 2 beers, you said that's SA?
Yeah, I mean, because,
2 beers.
well, they still know what they're doing, don't they?
I would say it depends on how the beers
No, hold on,
affect.
stop, hold on.
I guess I'm confused about the question.
So, a man has 2 beers, a woman has 2 beers.
Oh, no.
They have sex. Is that SA?
Oh, no, I thought you meant just if they were intoxicated, that it doesn't count or something. That's what we
Wait,
we
what?
misunderstood. We misunderstood.
Yeah, I did this.
Is too woke. Like, people are
So-
super
Wait,
sensitive.
no, wait, hold
So
on,
real
hold
quick,
on,
Ryan, I
hold
just
on.
want to give you the rest of this. The results of the study, which also explored other sexual and aggressive fantasies, self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. 52% of the women had fantasies about forced sex with a man. 32% had fantasies about being full-on R-worded by the man. 28% had fantasies about forced oral sex by a man. And 16% forced anal sex.
And but hold on. But y'all see how when the data comes, it's always a pushback when it comes to the woman's perspective. Because I've met many women, and they've told me they've taken my hand and put it on their neck.
Oh, I don't know.
It sounds good, but in reality,
There's a difference from being
But they
touched
feel
with something
comfortable with you.
listen. Violence is violence. I don't even like to play fight. I only like to fight for real. So
You
to
don't.
me, if someone wants to pretend to be rough in a violent manner, like how is choking ever? Is nothing soft and
But she
intimate?
trusts that person,
I get it, but
so
it
it's
still
consensual.
it still speaks to the pathology of the woman. My grandmother didn't do that, nor did my mother. They do that today.
That you know of.
Of course, but it's always convenient when it comes to the women. But when it comes to men, it's definitely definite. Like that's just bias. Like I was saying, most women, if to slightly even want your man to pretend to do something that in real life would be negative, speaks to the pathology of the woman. Why do you want me to pretend to choke you? When did that become sexual? When did that become intimate? When did that become loving? When did that become becoming of a feminine woman to be choked by her man? It doesn't make sense. Y'all can make all the excuses you want, but it don't make no damn sense.
It's a fantasy.
Part of
Exactly.
it, part of it actually is
We're
science.
here in fantasy. That's where y'all live.
Part of it actually is science. When you allow a certain amount of oxygen to be deprived from the brain, you orgasm harder.
I want to move
That shit
away.
sound good.
Hold on, guys. Let's move away from. Andrew brought up that one example. I want to move away from the study about women's fantasies. Let's get back to kind of like the meat of the conversation here. So you brought up this 1 in 4 number. Okay. So this includes, I'm just curious here. If the man had 2 drinks, the girl had 2 drinks, is that SA?
Is that what it is according to the study?
I believe there was some component, even consensual sex between 2 people who had consumed some degree of alcohol. They deemed it as SA.
If it's consensual, I don't count it as SA, but
But they
It
did.
also depends on body weight. So 2 drinks for a 5'2" nothing versus a 6'7".
I'm sorry, you're
is
not going to be
big.
blackout off of 2 drinks,
No,
even
all
if you're 5
all,
foot tall.
all I'm saying is like alcohol conversion in height and weight for 2 people who weigh very different things might be
I'd
different.
argue men drink more heavily than women. So I gave you an example where it's like the equivalent, but let's say that the man's more drunk than the woman. Is that SA?
Yeah, if he's more drunk,
He's not blacked out.
But how would I don't even understand how you
Men
would
can
gauge
be
that.
raped
Like
by
if
women,
2 people go out and they get drunk, no 2 people are going to have the same level of impairment, right? No 2 people are going to have the same level of impairment. So one's always going to be slightly or even more less impaired than the other person, even if they're both drunk. I don't even know how you would quantify that. Like, how would you quantify that? Oh, well, you had 6 drinks and she had 3, so now you're equally impaired, so now you can have sex? Like, that just seems absurd on its face, right?
okay.
Well,
Well,
sometimes men get also more aggressive when they've had more to drink. So if they're sloppy drunk, they could
So do
still
women.
sexually.
Women get more aggressive when they drink, too.
Women definitely get aggressive.
okay. So if we don't
People
agree
get
with that
aggressive.
study, then let's find another one that says what the
there's
percentage is.
There's the DOJ statistics. Damien, can you try to find the DOJ statistics? But okay, how about this? A woman has there's no alcohol involved. A woman has consensual sex. She regrets it the next day. Is this SA?
No.
Okay, but
It happens. But it happens.
I want to say a lot of things happen doesn't make it right.
But that happens more than often
It
than not.
does, but that's a whole.
And actually,
But it
this
happens.
affects African American men at higher rates, at very high rates, because there's like this racial component.
That's why I said it's
The Roe v. Wade
White.
was based on a lie.
Who was Emmett Till? Emmett Till.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
We can go on and on. That's why I said we speak from a privileged position. We speak from a privileged position. Everybody has a different reality, so you can get away with something that another person wouldn't. It's going to affect them. They might have the legal fees. They might have the means to combat these assumed negative emotions and actions of men as opposed to another man. Like right now, for example, I don't know his income, but I'm assuming he makes more than me. He might can get out of a situation like that quicker than I can based on the words of a woman. So when we just speak these general, like, oh no, it's just like this. No, it's not just like that. It's very nuanced, but it seems like we only show nuance for the woman's side and not for the man's side. Like, we have to be real about this thing. Is people take these topics from these podcasts and they run with it in real life, and people's lives really get jeopardized, especially men. Like the Roe v. Wade thing. That was based on a white woman blaming and I don't want to make it racial, but y'all brought it up.
Wait, Roe v. Wade?
The Roe v. The abortion thing. That was the original. If I'm not mistaken, the original crime was a white woman blaming a black man, saying he SA'd her, and from that, she got impregnated. And because of that,
it's a privacy. It's more of anything about privacy.
It was a lie. The woman who the crime that caused that law to come in to be implemented was a woman who lied on a black man who was never SA'd by him, and that they took that story and made abortions legal because of that lie. That's a fact. I think it was a documentary that they made on it. Off of, what's that show? What's the Candace Owens is on the network. It got
I don't know.
Bill Walsh, Matt Walsh is on it too. They did a whole documentary about it. They did a whole documentary about Roe v. Wade. It was based on a lie.
I don't know the details.
The network is the Daily Wire.
The Daily Wire. Yep. They did a documentary on it. I believe, and they was talking about how I believe that situation was based on a woman who accused a man of saying her, and he didn't even do it. And he happened to be a black man. I want to know how his life went.
Okay, well, this just took a lot.
Hey,
Here, I'll move things on here shortly. I guess really quick, those of you, you said 20%, you said 15 to 20. Does this also apply to like your family members, like cousins, etc.? So like 1 in 5 of all your family members?
I mean, I was taught by my dad to protect myself from men. So, I mean,
yeah, but like, are you willing to throw like 1 out of 5 of your like blood under the water and say like 1 in 5 of your male family members are like inclined to SA a woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I know for a fact that some of them have.
Okay. Well, it does happen in families.
Actually happens more.
I mean, are you asking?
It happens more in families than just random people on the street. Like, typically, it's somebody that you know or somebody
that is fair.
I want to say it's somebody's friend, it's somebody's son, it's somebody's dad.
Really
like,
sick.
Yeah. But so, I guess final thing here on the bear thing. So I kind of is the position that.
So wait, it mostly doesn't happen by strangers.
It mostly happens.
So if it mostly doesn't happen by strangers, wouldn't that be a strike against your logic of thinking that responding randomly with a stranger in the woods? Wouldn't that significantly lessen the idea that you would be SA?
How many women are alone in the woods just spawn?
Like
how many women on average just spawn into the woods? Like, it's a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, I know, but hypothetical situations are designed to test your logic. That's why we make them up, right? We make them up to see if we can determine what is true and what is not true, and if we're using logic and reason in order to make determinations about things, or if we're just using pure emotion or something like that. So I have no doubt that you feel that this is true, right? And there's many things I feel are true, but the reason we use hypotheticals to test if the feeling makes any sense. And so if the idea is once we get into the nitty gritty, wait a second, almost you all agree it's mostly somebody you know who would do something like this. Wouldn't that be a strike against the idea that spawning with a random stranger in the middle of the woods, you would actually be less likely than you would even with somebody you knew?
Good point.
Not necessarily.
I think they're saying that the chances are just higher in general, no matter who you're around.
The reason why it's usually higher with people who you know is because they can have you in a compromising position, like watching you while your parents are gone, like something where you're alone, where you're isolated. That's why it's typically someone.
We're talking about adult women here. Adult women, this type of thing. Even adult women are still.
It can still be when you're isolated and when you're alone, and if you're in the woods, you're isolated and alone.
Adult women are still more likely to be SA'd by people they know, right? But most of the time, the people that they know are people like male friends of theirs, things like this. Those are the people who are and yes, it is true they're in a compromising position, but it seems like it's this intimate knowledge you have with this person that makes them feel like this is in some way appropriate, or that they can get away with it, or this kind of thing. Do you think if you respond with a random stranger in the middle of a forest, that you guys would have way bigger things to worry about than whether or not he wants to just like attack you, it just seems kind of silly, right?
Maybe it's also a perspective from people on the streets, strangers on the streets that come approach us and stuff too.
It makes no logical sense to choose a bear over a fucking stranger in the fucking woods. It makes no logical sense to choose a bear. Statistically, biologically, like absolutely none. We are running ourselves in circles, and it's like we are emotionally like politicizing the emotion and the feeling of course we're not saying like, yeah, SA fucking happens and it sucks, and the statistics, it is real. That is real. That does not devalidate that point at all. Logistically, statistically, for the fact of the argument, a bear or a man, the odds of survival, immediate survival, you would choose a random man.
I would not.
That makes no logical sense to me.
Wait, really quick,
I
really
grew
quick.
up in rural Arizona, and I've been around bears. I've seen bears. I used to go camping all the time. I feel very
Okay.
comfortable.
I
in
I think
that
it just
opinion.
depends on your
It's just
experience.
an opinion.
We'll explore all this really quick. Pull up the meme. Get the meme going. Okay, so brown bear up to 9 feet tall, up to 1,300 pounds, claws 4 inches, by force 1,200 psi, pelt for 5 inches, speed 35 miles per hour. Kyle 5'10", 174 pounds. Project engineer said hi to you at the gym. So like, look, again, yes, there's some percentage of men that would victimize you terribly, but like, you have to attribute such a large percentage if you're doing a risk assessment of like, yeah, I'm gonna pick a bear over a man. Like, your risk assessment is flawed.
The question wasn't about logic. Logically,
It is a
It's a logical
Hey,
question.
let me finish. Let me finish.
That's
The pain that someone might feel after being SA'd is going to stay with them for the rest of their life.
But is it a guarantee
Maybe they don't
that you
want to
get
deal with
SA'd?
that.
It's not a guarantee that
It's
you
not
get
a
SA'd.
guarantee, but
You said,
but
what did you
the
say,
bear,
2%? You said it's a 2% chance.
The bear. From my experience, the bear is probably going to do one of two things. It's going to probably like eat me, or it's going to leave me alone. It's just going to
And just eat you later.
go away.
Not eat you later, just walk
It
away.
doesn't
Tripping, man.
No.
I like you.
Hang on.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about.
How many bears have you encountered in the wild?
Listen, I don't want to encounter them. I'd rather deal with a person than a damn ravaging
Exactly.
bear. This
Bear's
sounds
not
ridiculous.
guaranteed to
Exactly,
eat you
you've never
because you
encountered
crossed
And a
paths
man
with
ain't
bear.
guaranteed to just take your
that-
womanhood
you're
and
right.
just
You're
come
right.
on
So
now,
that's why
y'all.
this question,
Y'all got to
there
cut
is
it out.
both sides to it.
It sounds good. It sounds real good. We live in a world where your feelings matter more than logic. But she said it herself. It's not even about logic. So if it ain't about logic, it don't make sense because there's nothing in your life that logic can be missing and you can succeed from it.
It
So let's
does
cut it
make
out and be
sense.
grown up in here.
I think people are just doing it based off experience. So
Knock
it's
it
just
off.
based off experience.
Also, just quickly, very quickly, that Arizona only has one species of bear, black bears, and there's only about 2,000 of them in the entire state. So they're probably,
they're
the
not-
likelihood they came across too many probably isn't high unless you were going to like a bear reserve or something.
Which I have been before, and also I have been immersed in wildlife from the time that I could like walk. So I feel very comfortable with animals. That's my personal opinion, and that's based off of my experience growing up around animals. I had a mountain lion in my clubhouse as a kid because I grew up on 5 acres, and I felt very safe just watching it from my fence with binoculars. I was about 10 feet away from it. My parents didn't see anything wrong with that, and they let me do that, and I feel comfortable with that.
You're
What I
behind a
don't
fence.
Let her
You're
finish.
dancing. a fence
You're-
that
okay,
they
your
can
new name is
easily
Dancing with
go
Mountain
over.
Lions. Dancing with Mountain
What I'm
Lions.
saying is, I personally, this is my opinion, I feel like more comfortable with that than I would a random man who I don't know anything about.
Okay.
But he can at least.
That's my
can I
opinion.
just say one
Everyone's
thing?
opinions
Can I just
are
say one more
valid.
thing?
Go ahead, go ahead.
At least the man, there is a potential. This, because your view is your view. But the fact that you're ignoring the ultimate potential of a human interaction over a ravaging beast.
It wasn't ignored.
Hold on, sweetheart. Hold on.
I understand,
hold
Billy.
on, hold
You go.
on,
I just
hold on,
said
shorty,
it
let me
wasn't
finish.
ignored.
Listen,
It
sweetheart.
wasn't
You got it,
ignored.
you got it. Hold on.
Thank you.
The fact that you're ignoring the potential.
It wasn't
Oh
ignored.
my
Wait,
God,
stop.
y'all, you triggered. I get it. I got you. I know you mad.
You got it. You got it.
The fact that you're ignoring the potential for a human interaction over a ravaging beast shows the lack of logic and the assumed negativity of men by most women. You really think if you move that fence and you and that mountain lion chill for a week, he won't attack you? Like you can't even, the fact that you're not even assuming that maybe I can talk to this man. You can't communicate to that bear at all. I don't care how many times you fed it some crackers or something. He will hurt you at a higher rate than a human being. But the fact that you're just denying the fact that maybe I can talk to this person, maybe I can communicate, you just denying all of that. You talk to way more human men than you've ever talked to lions and bears, oh my, in your life. And you're just gonna ignore that. You're gonna ignore the fact you had that cool guy you went to school with, your cool uncle, your cool brother, the cool guy at the store, the guy that helped you get the gas that time. You're ignoring all of those scenarios of positive men for that small list of negative men as opposed to a fucking bear. Just shows to the lack of logic of the modern woman. Like you can make all the excuses you want, but this shit don't make no damn
Thank
sense.
you for assuming that it was ignored, but it was not.
It was not ignored, and also,
Shit sound crazy.
it was
Excuse
not-
me?
Go ahead.
It sounds
Go
crazy.
ahead.
Okay.
Well, that's your opinion.
It is.
Is it sexist? Are you guys willing to admit that your position is sexist against men?
Sexist?
Against men, yeah.
I think that
Or can you not be sexist towards men?
No, you can be sexist towards
Okay,
men.
is it sexist?
I wouldn't say it is because it's based off of experience.
Okay, let me follow up with you on that. So, let's say we replace man with let's do black person. Does this question become racist? Like if you were to answer, I'd rather pick a bear over a black person.
Is it a black girl? Because I picked the black girl. Absolutely.
No, it's just a random black person. So it could be.
It doesn't matter their race. If it is a man, I will choose the bear.
So
if it
it's
is a woman,
sexist.
No.
it is.
But
you
okay.
can say that.
Wait,
you
but
can
hold
say that
on.
if you want.
So
Because a
hold on.
woman.
But so let's say somebody,
It's not.
let's say somebody picked the bear over black person. Is it racist?
It is. I'm black.
No, but so,
I'm black.
but is it racist?
That's not off of my experience. I don't feel that way, and I'm not part of the POC
here. Let me explain it a little bit. So let's say somebody.
I got a better way to.
Let me just ask it, and then I'll pass it to you, Andrew. So.
I think that would be prejudice more than racist.
It's semantics. That's semantics. It's the same shit.
Okay,
It's different,
So let's say
actually.
somebody. Let's say
different words.
a white girl had 3 bad experiences with 3 different black men, and for this reason, she doesn't want to. She'd pick the bear over the black man. Is it racist? Because of her past experiences with black men, and she says, I don't care, even if because you said earlier, even if it's a 1% chance, I still pick the bear over the man.
But it was still a man that she picked versus.
Wait, hold on.
I mean, it was still a bear that.
Okay, she had 2 bad experiences with a black man and 2 bad experiences with a black woman, and collectively, she's deciding I pick the bear over the black person because I've had prior bad experiences with black people. Is it racist?
No, I think it would be racist if it was a white man versus a black man. If
Wait,
those,
whoa,
if that
that don't make
was,
no-
wait,
oh my
if,
God.
if we're talking about race here, that would be a more
but
parallel
the-
situation.
Because it's a
Well,
man?
No, but
if
it's
you
a
put
black
two
person.
people, no, if you put 2 people in a forest, if we're saying instead, if we swapped out the bear, if we wanted to make this really even, it would be racist if it was a white man in the forest versus a black man in the forest, and she said she picked the white over that for that reason, for that logic. But still picking a bear over a man,
No, it's not a man. It's a black person.
You said black man.
A black person.
No,
I think the question you're trying to ask is if we took your logic and apply that to other things, it would make no damn sense. So back to what I was saying real quick. I just think that it just wouldn't make no sense. What's being shown is, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't convince nobody here, people out there in YouTube, StreamYard land, this is why men are leaving, because women are on board with each other despite logic and science. It's all about women. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to have any logic. It's women overall. And women who feel like that are not making it better for other women coming up. Because men want to be with women, despite what it looks like, despite all the statistics. We do love you. We do want to be with you. But if you have this mentality, it's going to make men remove themselves from you in all areas. And I hate to bust your bubble, ladies. You need us.
Excuse me?
You
that's
do
crazy.
need us. You do need
There
us.
is a male loneliness epidemic that's going on, but that is
Same with
not.
females.
Yeah, women
over-
But men are violent when they're incels.
Yes, women over, like, you can pull up the exact statistic because it is
I
somewhere.
have it in front of me, but
Yeah.
the female loneliness epidemic is almost on par with the male. They report being lonely at almost the exact same rates.
People are lonely.
Yes, but what I'm saying is women who are over a certain age, who are childless, who are not in a relationship, report to have it's on the internet. I'm sure, I don't have my phone, so I can't look up the exact thing, but I'm sure someone else
They
can.
report having heavier amounts of mental health issues. They report having heavier amounts of dissatisfaction. They report having heavier amounts.
I think we're reading very different surveys.
Well, I don't think so. What you're talking about is an article. What I'm talking about is the actual data, which is backing this up, not an article, which then
I'm
mints the
talking
data.
about a survey.
But this isn't just for women, right? This is men as well. When they get in their 30s or 40s and they're childless or don't have a family, they also report much higher dissatisfaction rates, higher frames of mental illness. They make less money. They have less incentives. They have less motivations. Basically, people need each other, right? That's the general motivation. If you were to look at this, though, I'd have to ask you this. I was listening to what you were saying, and I thought it made sense. But you said the thing that validates it is experience, and because it's experience, it's not really sexist. The thing that gets me with that is, like, what if an employer was a man and he didn't want to ever hire women because he'd had really bad experiences with them? That couldn't be sexist, right? By that same logic, could it? Hang on, let her answer. That couldn't be sexist.
What were
right?
the experiences? Were all of the women in his life
They made
raping
false.
him?
Let's say that
Because-
several of them made false allegations, and several of them underperformed, and several of them that they had. But he had nothing but negative experiences with them. And since that is what informed him in his hiring practices, and that was his experience, isn't he then justified in not hiring them? And wouldn't it not be sexist then because it's based on experience?
So I'm going to have two parts, and I would like if everyone could allow me to finish all the way before interrupting. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What I would say about that is it is sexist because we're talking about pay, and underperforming is not the same as being essayed. As someone who
We're not talking about pay.
Yeah.
We're just talking about hiring.
Hiring.
Yeah,
If you're hiring someone, you're hiring them to pay them for a job that you're hiring them for.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with your relationship. You don't have to date them. You don't have to spend time with them.
You don't have to date the
You
man
don't
in the
have
forest.
to. You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything with the man in the forest.
But aren't you saying that they would be skeptical going into hiring
No,
women?
I'm saying-
Why
what I'm
wouldn't we
saying
be
is it's
skeptical
the
going
same-
into that?
I'm just telling you it's the same logic. That's all. It's the same logic applied.
So what I'm saying though is from personal experience, what I was explaining from personal experience as someone who has been essayed, I would rather take my own life than have that happen again. And
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
understand
saying is there is nothing worse for me, in my opinion. This is my opinion. There is nothing that someone can do worse to you than that.
I'm not disputing any of that.
So what I'm saying is underperforming and having the worst thing done to you cannot even be equated in this situation.
Okay, wait. Let's back up though, because I understand exactly what you're saying. It makes total sense to me. This is the most horrific thing you could ever think of, and so you're going to select against that thing because this thing happening to you again, you'd rather anything else, including getting eaten by a bear, happen than the thing. I completely understand that. The question is not whether or not SA is really, really bad and you had a traumatic experience with it, though. The question is that it's sexist regardless of how it's informed. You said, no, it's not sexist because that is my experience. And it's like, okay, then if it's not sexist because it's your experience, then a man who was falsely accused of SA in his hiring practices, let's say, would be completely justified never hiring a woman again by the same logic because he says this is the worst thing. Hang on, I'm almost done. I just let you finish. He could use the same logic. He could say, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Nothing worse. I can never imagine anything worse than this. I'd rather anything happen than this again. So he refuses to hire a woman that's totally justified based on his experience. The same logic back to you.
Yes. If that is the situation, initially you said underperforming and you listed a couple of other things.
Then it's not sexist.
Yes,
so then he's not being sexist.
If we're
right?
talking about that, then yeah, that wouldn't be sexist.
Yeah, right. So then
yeah.
any man who's ever had a false allegation against him, right, and then refuses to hire women after that because of that false allegation, you think that's totally valid?
I think that's valid, yes. Why put yourself in that situation?
It's not sexist, right?
Yeah. Don't put yourself in that
then,
situation.
Then
That's
if
fine.
I gave you a list of men who that's happened to, right, I can name it, but the point is that if I gave you a list of like Fortune 500 company executive CEOs who said that they want to advocate a policy that no more women get hired by their company because such a thing did happen to them.
Are they working with those women?
You would never say
though?
that was sexist, right?
Well, that's different if they're CEOs and they're completely detached from ever interacting with any of those women. I said it wouldn't be sexist for them to not want to work with those women.
No, that's not what you said.
But have those.
Not
When
what you
I'm
just
thinking
changed the
of
whole
like a
goalpost
restaurant
now.
owner. I'm thinking of someone who has to have someone. They're hiring women, and those women are directly working with them. That's what I envisioned when you said women work for them and hiring women, and because they're interacting with them and they don't want that.
I would assume that based on what you told me your experience is, being anywhere near a situation which could potentially lead to that, which is what we're talking about, spawning into a forest with a random man or a random bear, right? Just the fact you said if it's even 1% that you would not choose that. The CEO of the company is saying the same thing. If it's even 1%, even though I'm detached from these people, I'm definitely not going to hire them. It's the same exact logic. Same.
No, because if you're the CEO, there is not even a 1% chance that you're going to interact with those people. You're not going
No,
down and
you said
hanging
if
out
it's
with them.
even, meaning if it was
Yes.
less than that, you still wouldn't take it. You said if it's
Yes,
anything,
yes,
if it's
you're
any
not-
percentile,
what
if there's any
CEO
chance.
is going
So
and
here, I'm going to
interacting
prove it
with
to you. I'll
them?
prove it to you. Do you think, statistically, that a woman could accuse you of SA easier if you hire them or if you don't hire them?
If Jeff
if
Bezos hired me and then I accused him of that after never meeting him, I think it would be just as invalid if I was not hired by him. Actually, I think it would be more invalid because then it's like
Yeah, but
no
the
paper
whole
trail.
point here is the disassociation. The idea here is this. It's not whether or not the chances would be unlikely for both, just which thing there'd be a higher chance for.
I don't
In this
see
case,
any
of course, the chance would be higher that if a woman doesn't in any way or any capacity have anything to do with your company or you, her chance of accusing you of SA significantly go down versus her being closer to you. So if that's the case, same logic as if there was any percentage at all that this could ever happen to me, I'm choosing the bear. And that's totally appropriate and not sexist. And the reason it's not sexist is because it comes from a place of experience. That would be the same thing for a CEO.
Can I chime in? So to be sexist, to be
I would
racist.
like her to just finish real quick. We're almost done. Almost done with the exchange. I would just like to finish it real quick. Can you speak to that real quick? Because it's the same logic. That's why I don't understand.
I think that it's not the same logic only for the reason that you are physically in the company of one, and the CEO is not physically in the company or physically in danger of being in a compromising position with one of their 12,000, 60,000 employees, whatever crazy number they have.
If there's any percentage,
yes, but there wouldn't be a percentage if they never interacted with them.
You would never do it.
They would never interact with them.
So Brian asked you this. He asked you. He said, if the chances were, and he gave you a low say. He said, if there's any chance, if it's even 1%, if it's less than that, there's any chance at all that this could happen to you, then no, you're not doing it, and you're picking the bear because this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. If the CEO was falsely accused, if he was falsely accused even once, and then says, I'll never hire a woman again, just because there could be a chance, and this is the worst thing that's ever happened. It's the same thing you just said.
Okay, well, if we're going by that logic, then sure, he doesn't have to hire any woman for the company. With the bear situation, I said that even if it was 1% chance, I would choose dying and not getting SA'd over that 1% chance. My punishment or my penalty for taking that is death. His penalty for not hiring any woman is probably getting boycotted. So yeah, you can do anything you want. Technically, we're all born with free will, but
hold on. I do have to let a couple things come through here. Burmese Mountain Tiger gifted 50 subs. By the way, Burmese, I think I have. I think you have a custom thing here. Let me just check 1 sec here.
Brian, I got one out. I got a flight I got to catch in the morning.
Oh, I thought you could stay until.
It's midnight my time. Yep.
Oh, your time. Hold on.
Yep.
Oh shoot. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Yep. Sorry about that. I gotta fly out tomorrow.
Do you want to wrap up? Did you want to wrap up on anything, or do you just have a hard out?
Yeah, I do have a hard out. I got to get up in literally 4 hours and do this.
Okay,
guys,
that's fine.
Very nice to meet you. I really enjoyed the spirited discussion.
Andrew, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, it was very nice to meet all of you, and you too, sir. I hope you enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Yeah, shoot us a rate, Andrew. Thank you for tuning in, man. Good luck with the Timcast thing or whatever. All right, man. Okay, hold on. I got to let a couple things come through, then we'll come back to the conversation. Burmese Mountain Tiger gifted 100 subs on Twitch. Dude, thank you so much, man. You're a fucking legend. Kendall Sanders became a member. And then let's see here. We had this one that already came through. We have a couple chats that came through. I have to read something from Andrew, if you're still listening. Oh, he left. Okay, well, Millionaire Bachelor, I'm not going to read your full message, but Andrew, your hit piece was weak as fuck. That's all I'll read for that, Millionaire. So, okay. And then we have 3 from Lucas. These came in a while ago, so it's about, I think, wait, hold on. Let's see. Lucas, I was on the subway, NYC subway, heading to work the other day. A young woman was attacked. Not a single man even looked up to see what was going on, let alone help. A man is in his late 20s standing next to me. And then he says, by the way, Lucas, thank you so much for the messages. Appreciate it. Turned to me and said, looks like that bear's got to save her. Congratulations, ladies. You reap what you sow, with the exception of my daughter, wife, and mother. You can literally be on fire in front. Hold on. And then there's another one. Looks like the bear's got to save her. Hey, man, chivalry is dead and the bear killed it, right? Okay. Burning to a crisp and I wouldn't even piss on you.
He's so upset.
Wait, where is it?
Upset.
Wouldn't even piss on you to save your life. Your widespread implicit vilification of men is abhorrent. You're a bunch of snot-nosed, delusionally entitled ingrates.
You see, I was going to add and say that I changed my opinion with all the facts, but that was...
Yeah.
You're...
All it takes is
very
1%.
You're telling on yourself.
It takes 1%. It's all over because
like
one
you
guy.
just kind of just, but I do change my answer because you guys fact checked it, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I'm this. No, I'm listening to your facts.
And I respect that. See,
I
that's
listen to
all
your
we
facts.
want. That's all. Just don't fight logic.
Because honestly,
like punch yourself.
how I see it as it is, it's a people problem. It's not a women or men problem. It's a people problem.
Thank you.
Women can do it.
Thank
men can
you.
do it. We're all doing it to each other. It's an issue. We shouldn't do it.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Because the point is, this right here, we should be trying to come together to some degree. This is these conversations and the top, this logic we have, it only brings separation because eventually men are just going to say, you got it, and you might find yourself in a situation where you might need a random man's help. But why would a random man help you when you say the things you say? So, hey, men have created this luxury where it created a world where women have the luxury to even critique men in these ways. But men even created that.
Critiquing women about being provocative and wearing
I mean, they do it, but that's
how that's not your preference and stuff.
But
what's wrong with that?
What that got to do with picking a bear over a man?
No, I'm just saying that you were saying stuff about that, so why can't we have our opinions about things that happen to us?
No, you can have an opinion, but I'm talking about logic. What I'm saying is, you dress in a certain way online based on women's complaints. I hear women saying, "Where's the guys at?" So I'm addressing a gripe that you have. If that's your gripe, dress up. I don't hear men complaining about being picked over a bear. So that's not an issue we're having. Women are having issues with meeting good guys, or meeting high quality guys, or maybe not you, women, but a lot of women have that issue. So it's like, maybe you should dress a little different. Maybe you should be a little more reserved. Maybe you should be a little more modest to fit your complaint. Men are not complaining about being picked over a bear. Not like this is the scenario that women are saying. So I'm just dealing with the logic. It's logic in telling a woman to cover herself up. Whether I'm in her life or not, that's good advice. Whether she got a man in her life or not.
But also, like, when women dress like that, they get more attention from men, so then that kind of confuses women.
We both be pointing fingers at each other. We both do the part. It's both sides. Like, we constantly point fingers. You know, people buy, or guys buy porn, but we also provide the porn, you know, OnlyFans and stuff like that.
Okay, a couple things here to wrap up here on the whole man versus bear thing. Let's see, hold on. Have any of you had a one night stand?
No.
Never had a one night stand?
Yes.
It's just confusing to me, this whole like bear thing. It's like the same women who like go out, have a one night stand, but you pick the bear. I don't know. That's confusing.
What does that have to do with the bear?
Because
you're literally putting yourself alone in a room with a man. I want to say you put
yourself in a room with a stranger, so like that's the same scenario. I guess
it's like the same exact scenario. But okay, how about this? A couple questions here. A couple different twists on the man versus bear thing. Let's see. Where is it? Hold on. It's a gay man. Does that change anything? If he's gay?
Yes.
If
I know that if I know he's gay and he will not hurt me in that way, then absolutely I'll pick the gay man.
What about a trans woman?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, it's male. She's male, or they. I don't know.
She's a she.
She's a she, but biologically a man.
But male.
If someone has that appendage,
there's a penis. There's the penis, but it's a trans woman with a penis.
What is their sexual orientation when it comes to wanting to have sex
Straight.
with women?
Well,
so would they want to have sex with women?
Yes.
But he still got that thing.
Still got the thing.
I feel like they're random. You just wouldn't know.
No, that would make them gay. Wait.
Make them a man.
This is where we're all going.
I'm really confused.
The fact that we even have to push that in.
Your answer should
She's
be the
straight,
same.
so she likes men.
The same, even if they are gay. It should be the same. But I get where you're trying to go with
okay,
this.
fine. A lesbian trans woman.
As long
it's a
as they're not
woman.
sexually attracted to me in any way, in any capacity, then
you don't know. You don't know, but it's a lesbian trans woman.
So they still have to
They still should be aroused.
Still have a penis. Penis still there.
But you're saying that they would identify at that point as straight. No.
But they still have a penis.
Identifies as a woman.
But so they would identify as gay, but
biologically
they're lesbian.
For me, it doesn't matter what if they are attracted to women in any capacity, I would choose the bear.
Wait, even a woman?
Wait, so
like woman shorter than me that I could overtake? Maybe that's.
So you're gonna like
I don't
take advantage of her.
No, I've never.
How dare you, bitch! I'll show you.
But the thing is.
Wait, do you think that's actually? Wait. This is kind of dark. But do you think it's like actually happened? Like somebody tried to like essay somebody, but then like they underestimated their victim, and then they're like, "I'm gonna show you," and then they like got them back.
I'm sure. Actually, I feel like there was like
a fighter chicks,
a video on that. Like there was a fighter.
I think this happened.
Yeah, I think so. Like
some like MMA fighter got attacked, and she's
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're about to get fucked up.
Okay, wait. Can I ask
crazy.
a question? Because you just said anyone that likes women, you would choose a bear. So like, if I spawned.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. For me, it's really the appendage that I have an issue with. Because it's the penetration.
Wait, she has a big clit. I'm sorry.
No, it's really the penetration aspect that has me in picking the bear.
Okay.
Because it's really just penetration. So yeah.
Even if they like girls, I mean, even if they didn't like women, they like men.
Like
you still would feel
penetrate though too.
So trans.
It's like, are you picking a human over a bear now?
I'm like a girl. I would pick a girl over a bear, but I wouldn't pick a man over a bear because there's the appendage attached.
Even if he identifies as a woman, you still would keep that same option. Is what you're saying? Like even if he's a man that identifies as a woman, but he still has a penis, you would still pick. You wouldn't pick him at all.
If he was sexually attracted to women, or if she was then sexually attracted to women.
No, he wasn't. He was.
Then it would be fine.
But even with the appendage, no, I'm saying, listen, I'm gonna make it clear. A man that identifies as a woman, but he still has a penis, but he's not attracted to women. He's attracted to men, but he still has a penis.
But that's fine because then it would be the same situation as a gay man. They're not attracted to me. They wouldn't want to hurt me.
But they still have the penis.
But I feel like
But
if
they
it's
don't have
fun, they
sexual
wouldn't know.
gratification from
The
me.
appendage.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't agree. So if we're gonna say
getting
we,
into semantics here.
all men, it would unfortunately have to include trans because they could do anything. I mean, just because.
But
if
if
you
they're
still
not-
have a penis, you have a penis. Okay?
Yeah, but
you could do.
a gay man isn't
It's
going to
about
attack you.
female. I told it's
But-
about feminism.
No,
It's
because a
about
gay man's not going to
females.
attack you.
But you
He's
don't
not
know
gonna-
that though. You don't know that.
Gay men
if
attack-
they're actually
you don't know that, though.
But we do. But in this perfect circumstance, in this perfect world, not going off of what someone says,
Well, then you
we
prove
know.
them wrong. You
yeah.
prove them. Their theory.
Hold on, I got
it
some more
makes
It's
scenarios.
not a perfect world.
I got more
We're
scenarios.
talking about a perfect hypothetical.
More scenarios. Okay, here's the scenario: 10 men or 10 bears.
10 bears. 10
Really?
bears.
Because that's
For the
that's
same
even
reason
crazier,
I'm
bro.
changing.
I'm out. I'm done. I'm good, man.
That's-
Check me.
wait,
Yeah, the same reason. Would I rather be?
We're gonna have to date this three.
No, but bro.
That's even worse.
Hold on, wait, guys.
10
hold on.
bears.
So okay,
bears
but
versus
in the
10
scenario, like I feel like in the scenario where it's one man, it's like, well, you're probably thinking, well, okay, he can get away with it. But like in society, men are not like cheering on like rapists. In fact, I can even prove this if you look at, for example, the prison system, right? If a man on the outside gets convicted of like essaying a woman, or even worse, like if it's like any sort of like children are involved, he's got a fucking target on his back. And even men who are criminals, and you would question their moral compass, their ethics, these men will kill that person. They'll kill that person in the jail.
Yeah.
So even among criminals, this idea of there's this grape culture, whatever. Even among criminals, they're like, these people are targets for violence and to literally kill them.
And let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What is the ultimate potential positive scenario from 10 bears as opposed to the ultimate potential of a positive scenario from 10 men? What's the best a bear can do compared to the best a man can do?
Of course. So when I first said my answer, I've pretty much in my mind, with the first answer, one bear, one man, I've considered the possibility that yes, I could get away from a bear, but I've also accepted that I might die from that bear, and that's also a high possibility, and that's fine because I would rather die than be essayed. I would rather die quickly by many bears tearing me apart than be penetrated by 10 different men.
That's not what I asked you. What I asked you is, what's the ultimate potential of the positive scenario of a bear,
Of the bear?
versus
Quick
the
death.
ultimate potential of a positive scenario with the male? In other words, we're taking away the bear killing you, and we're taking away the man essaying you. Who outweighs who when it comes to the best scenario?
What I'm saying is the best case scenario of the 10 bears versus the 10 man is that the 10 bears quickly kill you. Like it's
So what's the best case?
Snap.
Wait,
Snap.
I don't think I'm saying what I'm saying.
It's
I
also
got a good
possible
one.
they
Wait.
just leave you alone.
Yeah, it's also
Ignore
possible.
you.
What's the
I got a really good
possible?
one.
What's the
I
best
got
position
a
for
really
the
good
man,
one.
though?
I got a really good one.
They also
I got
ignore
really
you.
good.
They can actually help you. They can be your friend. I'm just saying, I don't think y'all understood the question.
What about 100 men or 100 bears?
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. If there's 100 men,
Yeah.
then maybe there is a possibility.
Wait. Oh no. Wait. I can even go back to the 10. So earlier, the percentage you said is 15%. So that's saying 85%. So let's just say it's 2 of the men, they're trying to get you. And then the other 8% of the men would never harm you in any single way. So you would have, even using your own statistics, you would have to grant that those 8 other men, and they're all witnesses to this, if those 2 men tried to target you, those 8 other men, you got to be realistic, they would come to your defense.
Okay.
Right?
In
Is that fair?
In every situation except for any sports team or
What?
like
Sports
hold
team?
on.
It's random men.
Yes,
It's not a
okay, what I'm
collective
saying,
sports team.
Okay, yes, what I'm saying though is of those men, let me finish. Go on.
Is it NFL, hockey? What is
what
it?
I'm saying is it depends on if they're random or if they're buddies. Because if it's 10 buddies, absolutely not. I'll pick the 10
I
bears.
still think even if they're buddies,
So you
bro.
think when men
I think
congregate?
if
So hold
they're
on,
10
hold on.
buddies,
Yeah, it's
here's
crazy,
the thing.
bro.
So based on this logic, I just want to get to the bottom of this. So based on your logic, when men congregate, there's a likelihood that we're just going to go raping and pillaging?
Okay,
Raping and pillaging?
Okay, every single time that I have been disappointed morally by people in my life who are men, it's when they were together with other men. Never when they're with women. It's when they get together with their buddies, with their bros, and they make horrible, heinous, despicable choices. That is what happens in my
I'm not arguing that men do a lot of dumb stuff, but does it turn into SA though? Men might want to jump off a building and do like parkour with some crocodiles
When-
and some
when
shit.
I was in
But I'm
high-
talking about SA.
When I was in high school, I think it was the soccer team. No, it was the baseball team. The baseball team decided to sneak a girl onto the bus and they sexually assaulted her. Bus driver did nothing. And I don't even know how she ended up on the bus, but all I know is that she had to change schools after that because the amount of humiliation and what they did to her. And no, she was not a willing participant, and no, she did not want to go onto the bus, but it was for a sleepaway thing, and they smuggled her on there and they took her against her will.
Okay, so back to my other question. Is there
Of course, 'cause
more?
they're scary.
I mean, listen, I get it. Is there more? I just feel like there's more positive scenarios with the man as opposed to I think the best thing the bear can do is just leave you alone. The best thing a man can do is a lot of things. He can help you out. Y'all can like each other. You can be friends. You can actually build something in the forest. Like
I can build stuff. I built my kitchen table.
but
my
we're saying
bedroom. I
we're
don't
talking
need
about as
a man to build
opposed to a
anything.
bear.
You don't need men?
I,
Oh boy.
I literally, I'm the handyman in my house, not my
We're
partner.
talking about the
Do
bears.
you think
Lord.
society needs men?
Well,
Like-
the society needs women and men. That being said, in my life, personally speaking,
Does it
I
need
can
men?
survive. I
Like,
can survive in a
absent-
forest without a
absent,
man.
Absent replication and having children, removing that component. Do you think society needs men more than women?
I don't think one is needed more than the other.
Yeah, I don't think that one is
So,
needed
so you
more
guys
than
are just
the
totally
other.
ignorant of the just the reality of men's involvement in certain professions that are like integral to the.
And how many inventions that were taken credit by men that actually were created by
This is,
women?
I mean, this is a total.
A lot, actually.
This is a total
Not really.
derailment. Even if I grant you that some men took, I mean, well, it's such a ridiculous response to my point. But so going back to my thing, so you won't even acknowledge that men have higher representation in certain key fields when it comes to infrastructure in this country.
I was raised by.
Are you gonna answer the question or just give us an anecdote?
Well,
Why
what
don't you
I'm
wait
saying,
for her to answer the question?
Again, it's based off
I was
based off of
raised to be a good
experience.
feminist.
No,
Okay,
no,
all
no.
right, go
That's not
ahead.
what I'm saying. I was actually raised in a very non-feminism, toxic, like Southern Baptist background.
Okay, go
but
ahead.
all of that being said, I was raised by my father that I do not need a man in any capacity. Other people around me tried to constantly say that I needed to have men for one reason or another, and that was always. But my dad taught me how to do everything that I need to do to survive in the woods, in the city, anywhere. I can do it. I can fix my car. I can build
Well,
things.
that
I don't
was a
need
great
anyone.
non-answer. Can you answer my question?
I can acknowledge that men have provided a lot to infrastructure, but that doesn't mean that I
You
need
mean
one in
almost
my life.
exclusively?
It doesn't mean that I need one in my
Yeah,
life.
but you need it by proxy. Like, are you saying on like an individual, like I don't need a husband?
Yeah, I don't need a husband. I love
Right, but
my
that's not-
partner, and he
that's not what I'm
provides
talking
greatness
about.
to my life. But I am okay with or without a man. Is what I'm saying.
But the fact that you have that idea is because a man made it, allowed the world to be that way for you to even come to that conclusion. You go back 200, 300 years, you wouldn't be able to say that. A man made it so comfortable for you to not need a man.
I would say women also made that by all of their
How?
sacrifices. Women's suffrage, pretty much anything that my dad has as a viewpoint that was positive for me, is also a direct result to what his family and his upbringing is and their upbringing.
You're talking from like I keep saying, it's not about us individually. We talk about for the whole world.
It is.
The average woman can't take care of herself without no man.
Well,
We're
maybe
not
I'll
talking
start-
about paying the bills. We're not talking about the luxury that men have afforded, where you can get paid to press buttons on the computer. We talking about in the real world. If the grid shut down right now, I'm sorry. If the grid shut down right now, you couldn't be a model. You couldn't be, because some of these jobs were made out of men's advances in society. So now you feel like you have value because you can be a marketing rep or something like that. That's not even a real job in reality. Like even what I'm doing, I do content. That's not a real job in reality. We have luxuries where we can create jobs. If the grid went down and it was just water, shelter, and human aggression, what value would women have more than men in that scenario?
We're quieter, stealthier. I honestly, I don't understand this. That like what you're trying.
You
to,
understand this very clear. You
I
just
don't-
might not like it, but you understand.
I don't understand the point of bringing it up, I suppose. But what I am going
Because
to
you need men.
Is that what you guys want us to say, that we need men?
I feel like I need a man.
I don't have a problem saying
How
that.
is
See
that
how you
solving?
said what?
It's an
See how you
opinion,
said
though.
what?
That's
No,
not
but
an
how does that
opinion.
solve
for
anything?
women who
You
don't
just
want
No,
to
we're not trying to
I need a
solve.
man.
No, it's not about
That
solving
is
because we
also
can't fix
opinion.
women.
100%
We're displaying a
valid.
mindset that men are talking about. It's not about fixing anything.
We need
Women
men
have their mind
just as
made
much
up.
as women need
Let's
men.
talk about it.
Vice
People
versa.
just
We
need
just said
people.
both, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you said both.
What did you say?
I'm just saying, if the grid went down, it would just, like, she has certain survival skills. She's talking about what she has.
Right.
Do you have those survival skills?
Maybe I'll start a maybe I'll start a club.
Oh, so you
know?
can
It's
survive in
like
the
Harry
woods
Potter.
with nothing?
That's really
Okay.
cool that you guys can
I don't
like.
know if I could, but I guess y'all could. I guess y'all could.
It's really cool that you guys can do that and like be able to take on what man roles, that you're saying. But like, wouldn't it be nice just to have a male do some of the things that like you have to do of what you say? Like, does that make sense? Wouldn't it be like a compliment to have a stronger, more fitted man for certain roles? Like, it's just, we need men just as much as women, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great that you can do all of those things, but I just think that like we shouldn't hate on men just because we can do those things and we can prove those things. Like, what are you trying to prove? Are you trying to be by yourself for the rest of your life?
No.
And a man told you could do it. That's what gave you confidence that it was a man.
A need and a want is two different things, though. I mean, I'm sure women want men, but needing and wanting something is two different things.
Why
Thank
you don't
you.
need them? Why? Because you're thinking about the fact that you can pay your bills alone.
No, I'm not talking about financially.
If things hit the fan, you are fucked, sweetheart.
Who?
Some men are fucked. There's some men that can't survive in the woods.
I can speak
Yo,
for
let's be
whoever
honest.
you
So you mean to
interact
tell,
with.
so sweetheart, you mean to tell me if you was in the woods right now with nothing, you just can just find foliage and survive and offer dirt and grub?
So that would go back to experience because I was a Girl Scout. So that's why I'm not even speaking on that because I could.
Girl
I
Scout
personally could.
cookies.
I know. I really could. Like I could.
Well, when I see these shows like Stranded and all that, the women be tapping out ASAP. So
Well, that's a show.
it's a reality-based show. Like, come on,
No,
I don't
they-
even think
they did.
I could do it that well, and I'm a man.
So there was a show where they put a group of men on an island and a group of women on an island, and these were like, they knew what they were getting into. I would argue like the average woman is not gonna like want to go through that sort of experience, and she doesn't have like the requisite survival skills to do that. So this was like a group of survivalist men and like survivalist women, and the women, they couldn't start a fire. They needed to essentially, like the show, the producers had to basically go in within 3 days and rescue them. Otherwise they were gonna die.
Okay.
And the men were like kicking it, fucking the cabana or whatever the fuck, they were chilling.
Okay,
It's
and
a show.
It's a show, and that's some people's experience,
So
but
it's
not
fake?
every. No.
Yeah, it'd be worse.
No one said it was
If you
fake.
told the president of the show,
wait.
So hold on. Yes,
But
it's a
it's not
show,
real
but
life.
it's even worse if we were to just to randomly pluck out like 100 women from the general population, throw them on the island versus willing participants in this sort of thing. So it's like there's just a difference in like a huge variety of things here.
I think
without
the
advanced
original
technology, could you do
question.
it?
The original question was, do men or women need men? And I think the answer to that is no. They don't
course.
need men. Air quote. They don't need men. Could
No, you do.
everyone?
You need
Can you
men.
let me finish?
All right, go
Because
ahead, go
you guys
ahead,
always
go
say,
ahead,
"Let me
go ahead,
finish. Let
go
me
ahead.
finish."
Go ahead.
Now, would every woman survive and be able to have all of these skills that are necessary? No. But are there some
So
women?
that means they need
let me
men.
finish, please.
That means
Let
they
me
need men.
finish.
What does
No,
the word
no
need
sense.
mean? What's the word?
Can you let me finish?
One thing.
Can you let me finish?
One thing, and I'll let
Can
you
you let
finish.
me finish?
Hold on. One thing, and I'll let you finish here. So you're saying, hold on. Just to be clear, you're talking about survival. So like life or death. Yeah, I think the operative word need is kind of important as it pertains to survival. But go ahead.
Okay, what I was saying was that no, we do not collectively need you. There are women that do have those skills that we could support.
No, you're
Can
still
you,
wrong. You're
can,
still wrong. I'm sorry.
can
Go
you
ahead.
It's
stop?
about power. It's not about logic.
that's
It's
an
about
opinion.
power.
It's
It's not about
Yeah,
power.
can you let me finish?
Go ahead. It's just such a
Opinions can't be wrong
it's
or
so
right,
collective.
because they're
No,
opinions.
Power.
It is about power.
And
100%
let's
about power.
just reverse
Collectively,
it.
you
Are
still
there
do.
men that have all of those skills?
But
No.
I just said that.
Can you let me finish?
But I just admitted.
You
No,
keep on
sweetheart, I'm
talking.
sorry. But wait.
We
You
need
keep on
men.
talking.
Men are great. Men are
Yes,
best,
yes, I
and
agree.
They do no wrong.
Yes, no.
They're great. They're great people.
Yes.
They understand everything.
Guys, hold
Their
on.
way of thinking is
Hold on,
so
let's let her
perfect.
finish.
We
Go
do a
ahead.
lot of wrong.
Wait, hold
We got it.
on.
We get it.
Go ahead. Finish.
Thank
We'll let
you,
you talk.
thank
We'll let
you.
you talk. Go ahead.
If you flip this and reverse it, men do not have all of these. Yes, I just
Sorry,
missed the
I'm sorry,
Elliot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Men do not have all these skills either. They don't have all these skills.
That's
and
why we
not
need each
everyone
other.
would survive.
But I
right?
said
No,
that.
Can you let me finish?
But I said that.
I want to say he did say in the
Thank
beginning,
you.
I need women.
Can you let me
And
finish?
I also said some men can't survive in that scenario either.
Can you let me?
You just want to
Go ahead,
agree.
go ahead,
You
go
want to
ahead.
be right.
Just let her
All right,
finish.
listen.
Just keep on
It's a
talking.
power struggle. It ain't about logic.
No, shut the fuck up.
Hey, there we go. Bring it on out. Come on, bring it out. I know.
You need more than you need us, right? Is
Are
that
you
what
guys
the
saying
argument is?
that?
Guys, hold on.
I didn't say that.
Hold on.
Shut up for 10 minutes.
That's what you're taking.
Guys,
Thank you.
stop.
Thank you.
Hey, guys. We have been interrupting her. Go ahead.
This is the logic.
Go ahead. No. Wait, guys. Everybody give her a minute. Uninterrupted minute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, and please don't say anything. So what I was saying.
Straight to the mic. Just fix your mic.
Oh, sorry. What I was saying is
Go ahead.
that neither men or women would have all of the skills necessary. But women would be able to support each other, and women could continue the race, the population, without men.
How would we be able to
We
reproduce?
actually literally can't,
We need
though.
to
Like,
reproduce,
we
you know?
can't just like get ourselves pregnant, though.
Okay, we're
we
getting like
can't.
far in the
You
nitty
mean,
gritty
what do you
here.
mean, sperm banks? Are you talking about sperm banks?
But without men, we wouldn't have sperm banks.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
So, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, but
Like,
let's, hold on.
No, I'm not. I'm
But let's
not,
let's
I'm
grant
not
this.
talking about
There's
scientifically.
There's
No,
existing sperm banks.
No, I'm
But
not
it's
talking about
again.
existing sperm
Okay, so
banks.
you mean how would you continue the species though?
No, I read
You
about this.
misspoke.
No.
Oh my God, the bone marrow.
Can you
Let her
Is it the
talk,
bone
let her
marrow?
talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I read about the study that they're developing where women could have babies, and I think it was, I don't know if it was developed for lesbians specifically or what, but I don't know if it's 100%, complete yet. But it's a scientific experience.
I mean, the
All right.
Wait,
fact.
so you're saying this
Experiment.
exists? This exists today. Women can asexually reproduce?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it sounds like
no,
it
you
sounds like
actually
you're-
sort of can, but it's guaranteed to be
I
a
don't
female.
think
It's
so.
in vitro. No, it
I don't
sort
think
of.
this is true.
I still think we need men, to be honest. But
But the
Okay, well,
fact that you
even if we
got
grant that, wait,
dragons,
even if we grant that,
yeah.
like,
many
oh my,
animals
okay, go ahead.
don't eat
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, because like I said, I made it clear. I said it in this statement. I said there are even some men that would not survive in the woods. Did y'all hear me say that?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that every man can do it, but it's a difference between feeling and design. We're designed to do it. So even though a man may not know, his body is more equipped to learn it and develop that skill quicker than you are. But from your perspective, and you represent many women in the West, it's not about what makes sense. It's about power. And it's about proving to yourself that you don't need men after men created a world where you don't need them. Men made the world a way so you don't have to need a man, because you have jobs where you can just type and get paid. You can do all these things that are basically strictly based on technology that gives you a false sense of superiority and power, that if those things were removed from you, you would not win. They had an exhibition, Clarissa Shields, she's a great boxer. She got knocked out by an amateur man. She's a professional boxer. She got knocked out by an amateur man, because it's a difference between what society tells you versus what you naturally are. I don't care how you feel, what type of bell hooks books you wrote. You're not designed to lead anything but yourself, period. But you can tell yourself what you want. But when shit hit the fan, we're going to see who could do what. Because it's hitting the fan right now. Thank God it's a few. How old are you?
25.
God bless you. How old are you?
23.
How old are you?
Doesn't
Exactly. You're 23 years old, you're 34 thinking like that. That's crazy.
Oh, you knew my age though.
Yeah, because I want you to say it though. That's crazy. They're younger than you, and like that's just crazy.
We're talking about technological advancements a lot right now in this conversation.
I talk about nature.
But no, we were talking about infrastructure, technological advancements. There's a lot of technological advancements, especially within medicine, that was credited and has now been recredited to women.
I don't care who the credit is.
That was originally credited to men, kind of giving lots of medical advancements were initially given credit to men, but it was really their subordinates, which were women, who created it and are now getting the credit that they deserve.
Fake news.
It's
Absolutely.
The function of society, the current function of society, we do need men. That is my opinion. Now,
well, to reproduce, yes, absolutely.
not even that. The function of the society we have today: sanitation, welding, underwater fucking jobs. No women. You know, I can't fucking overgeneralize all women.
I have a friend in underwater welding.
That's amazing. Wow, the one. No, good for you.
We got an infographic.
But here's the thing: is these. Baby, I don't give a fuck.
She doesn't give a fuck.
I know. Like, yes, of course, there can be women that appreciate and like this job. Statistically and logically looking at it, though, we value that men are an asset to the function of society that us, majority of women, need.
And I would hate to say
you don't want
because
power.
I don't.
Yeah.
This is a power thing with them. It's not about logic. It's about we don't need you. It's a power play. It has nothing to do with logic. It's just they want to see men fall at the behest of women. Some women they will never.
I don't
say
think that to be. I don't think that to be true.
I've never said that men were not an asset or that they're not important. But what we were saying, or sorry, I don't mean to speak for you. What I was saying was that men weren't necessary in your whatever you just said.
Exactly.
I will say this. There was a point brought up.
It was stupidity. I
bet
remember.
it was. I know.
There was a point brought up to sit like, because I would hate as a woman to hear this, to say like, oh, the only thing we need you to do reproduce. That would make me see red if a man said that. So to say that to a man is crazy, in my opinion. To say that you're only here to reproduce.
Well, no,
like that's crazy.
We're talking about in a
I'm never talking to women ever
hypothetical.
again.
We were talking in a hypothetical situation.
I know, but if the hypothetical was
because men
we only need men to reproduce is actually a crazy thought.
What
Because
were
you
they
could
saying
flip
women
that.
were for though? That's literally
We never limited
That,
you to
but the
anything.
thing is, that never left his mouth.
No, we didn't.
It did leave
We
it
just
in
said
his
you're
mouth.
not physically capable of doing what we're doing. But I said we need you, and I also said some things men can't even do that other men can do. So I acquiesce to both of those things, and I'm not into the power struggle. I'm into logic, what makes sense. Women can't do everything that men do, and men can't do everything women do.
Let's pull up the infographic. Can you pull that up, Damon? All right. Oh, open up. Can you do right click, open the new tab on the image? We're going to get that going here in just a sec, guys. We have a quick infographic we're going to pull up. Guys, like the video if you're enjoying the stream. Like the video. And you got it? Okay. Make it bigger, please. All right, top 20 most dangerous U.S. occupations and percentage male. Logging workers, 95% male. Fishing workers, 99.9%. Aircraft pilots, 94. Roofers, 98. So garbage collectors, 91. Truck drivers, 94. Iron and steel workers, 98. Farmers and ranchers, this is where you get your food, 75. Agricultural workers, 79%. Recycle. Oh my God, I can't speak English. Recyclable materials workers, 91. Mining, this includes oil and gas, 99.9%. Landscaping, 95. Construction workers, 97. Cement and concrete, make me smaller, please. Cement and concrete manufacturing, 97. No,
Our faces are in the way.
We're blocked. So make us smaller on the right small. Yeah, then you got, okay. So did I say cement and concrete manufacturing, electrical power line workers, 99, police, 85, maintenance and repair workers, 97, taxi drivers, whatever. Oh, great, I'm gonna get canceled by the taxi association. Support activities for mining, 99%, mining except oil and gas, 99%. So okay, like these are critical infrastructure jobs, majority men, like it would be to total societal collapse if all men disappeared.
World War II happened.
How's that relevant?
All of the men went to war, and who picked up the slack? Who worked in the steel?
There were still men doing those jobs.
Women picked up all the slack. That's who came in to
look,
do all
there
the
are
men's
some women
jobs
who are, but
went to
okay,
war.
the scenario that I'm kind of thinking about in my head here is that like you snap your fingers. So women don't have the requisite amount of time to like do the preparation and get the women in these fields in order to be like representative and have enough there to actually enter them. So because these fields are currently predominated by men, if you snapped your fingers and women didn't have the time to like, you had 20 years to prepare for all men disappearing, if it just happened like instantly, you guys would be fucked.
It would be difficult.
No,
but we would have to count on that 1.1%.
catastrophic.
Like,
You
it
wouldn't
would
have
be
to catch me building a
catastrophic,
building,
but
so
it wouldn't be
yeah.
impossible. What he was saying is that we would not survive.
Stop. Hold on. Let me give a couple
And that's
clarifying
not
things here.
fact.
So in either scenario, let's say all men die, all women die, either scenario, it's the end of the human species eventually. Both scenarios, if all men survive, all the women are gone, it's the end of the species. All the men disappear, women are still there, end of the species. For either one. However, I think there's a differential here. Just it's not to like dunk on women. It's just like the sheer undisputable, incontrovertible. Is that the word? Incontrovertible?
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's okay.
Reality of just the fact that men are so enmeshed in like critical infrastructure jobs that uphold like the society at large. Women are not represented in these jobs in significant amount of numbers, where if there was some like scenario where all men disappeared, there wouldn't be enough women to fill it, and like the cascading and domino effect of just the catastrophe that would happen if you had all men disappear, who are making sure every single hour, every single day that there isn't some like massive shit hits the fan situation. Everything would just start collapsing. Water, sewage, electricity, gas, fuel refinement, garbage collection, telecommunications, IT infrastructure, road maintenance, all these things, truck and delivery drivers. Your food's gone, your water's gone, your electricity's gone. Without these things, people are going to starve. There's going to be fires. There's going to be all kinds of probably crimes occurring. That's kind of to the side though. Yeah, it's going to be like, it's going to suck for men. They'll live to old age. The women, I'd say like 50% of women are dead within 3 weeks. I'm not saying that to like dunk on the women. It's just the reality of the representation in infrastructure.
What we're talking about is like these job fields that are predominantly men. But what we are seeing is that a lot of women who, regardless of whether or not some of us like that or dislike that, we're in a more masculine era. A lot more women are open to being in these job fields and wanting to be in these job fields. And so maybe right now that is a high potential that we would fail, but maybe in 10, 20 years time, that's not going to be the same situation.
Because they're going to evolve and become like supermen and women. Right?
No, I think that more women will go into workforces that are predominantly men because now there's more of a space.
Because it's a necessity, not a choice.
Thank you.
Men give us choice.
Thank you. I got a friend
Men
that does
gave
that.
women
They also
choice.
took choice away.
That's life
Y'all
isn't
folk-
fair. I mean,
know women that do that type of work, and she don't want to do it. She does it out of necessity because she has a younger child. So women are getting into these fields because they're having children. They don't have a man there. So it's not what they want to do. Because right now, with all that stuff, guess what you're doing? You're a model. You're not out there saving Smokey the Bear. So even with all those skills you got, you don't want to do that shit. So it sounds good to win an argument, but we love to win these arguments, but people are really listening to us. So let's ask this question. What would be more advantageous for a woman to listen to what you're talking about, or to try to find her place into what we're talking about? In reality, it may feel good. It may feel good and sound good on The View and all that type of shit, but real women who try to do that is going to fail because that's not what they want to do. Women want to be pretty. They want to be soft, and that's dope. Ain't nothing wrong with it. There's a power in being feminine, but feminism have told you that the power is in mimicking men. So they need to just change the word and stop calling it feminism because ain't nothing feminine about it. All they want to do is compete with men. That shit is stupid.
Okay, feminism is about choice. Some of us choose to have a more soft approach, and some of us choose to have a more masculine
because
approach.
Men have afforded you the ability to do that. Most women don't want to do that shit.
Are you gonna cut
No,
every
go ahead.
girl
I'm
off?
sorry, go ahead.
Or thank you. What I was saying is that feminism is the opportunity to choose. It's to choose what you want for yourself and that life. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom That is your choice, and that's a valid choice, and all the power to you, girl. Like, I love that for you. I do. But that has to be your choice. It can't be someone forcing you into that position. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that is your choice, and that should be your choice, not someone forcing you or financially manipulating you or whatever it is into that decision. And feminism, real feminism, supports every woman's choice, not just the harder, more masculine. What I'm talking about in a lot of these things these topics that we were talking about, is my personal experience. I think I have a pretty balanced mix of feminine and soft energy. I mean, feminine and hard energy, based off of all of my life experiences combined. That's going to be different for every woman. I'm not trying to push my choices for what I want onto some other woman. But what I'm saying is my choices and my opinions are valid for my experience and for my life.
And I respect that. But unfortunately,
Birdman donated $200.
I'll have you respond.
This is the dumbest dumb to have ever dumbed. Men and women are complementary, so maybe complement each other instead of acting like opponents. But choosing a bear over a man is dumb too.
Yo, Birdman, thank you for the $200 TTS. We also have another one coming in here in just a sec sorry for the delay on that, Birdman. We have a bit of a moderation delay. But thank you so much for the TTS, man. Really appreciate it. We have just Gerald here. Thank you.
Just Gerald donated $200. Not one woman at this table could last a month working construction in the death grip of an Alaskan winter, or survive for a month without electricity, or last a week on the oil fields.
Yo, thank you, man. Gerald, really appreciate it. Somebody in my DMs sent me, he works in infrastructure, and he said in the better part of a decade working in critical infrastructure, you know how many women I've encountered who deal with major outages at 2 a.m. 0. Every engineer, manager, vendor, other experts, and boots on the ground dealing with a huge problem at stupid o'clock, all men, which is why we get paid more money than working a 9-to-5 job. That's what he wrote.
What do you guys get from being so defensive about acknowledging that men and women are supposed to be complementary in society, and there is a necessity for them? Why you guys get so what do you gain from it?
For me, I'm not saying that men and women aren't complementary, or that that men and women don't need each other.
You just fought against that.
Yes, because he was saying in his little speech that women cannot survive without men, and I was trying to point out that there is a possibility that we can survive without men.
There's a possibility that I could fly.
There's a survive that.
What is the benefit for men wanting to point all of this out to? And if we're going to flip all of this,
just being factual.
Well, a lot of these facts and a lot. I'll just say this right now. When I was DM'd regarding this opportunity, I was anticipating that it was going to be a dating podcast, and honestly,
it's related.
Honestly, all of these questions have been very targeted. So I think I'm not going to speak on your part, but on me, what I was told this was going to be is very different from what it is.
I mean, feminism is massive parts about.
But there's a million other things that are going on in the dating world, especially what it was referred to was the dating world here in LA. And this is nothing really we're talking about is exclusive to LA or exclusive to LA dating culture. Like a lot of the things that is what I was interpreting this was going to be about kind of seems like it's all from the male's perspective and the male's perspective on dating. So that's
7 women at the table.
Yes, but the answers.
Out your perspectives.
I'm aware, but it's all of the questions that you're asking and that have been asked so far. It's like the man and the bear, all of the viral things that have gone on that have gotten men and women into arguments. We're not talking. I feel like these questions are made to get some aggressive feelings, and it's not necessarily like.
We're having fun.
Yeah,
I don't think. It's,
I think it highlights a huge issue in the dating society is people that are so aggressive as females.
This is the
I would say I changed my answer.
And their role.
And it can go the other way too. Men are hyper feminine.
And it can go the other way too. But
also, I mean, like, didn't mean to cut you off there, but I do think a big part of, like, one of the big things when it comes to dating is, like, do we have the same values? And there's, like, I think that's pretty important. So I don't think these things are totally beyond the pale in terms of.
I feel like it's more
and sometimes
of an
you have tangents and you go into
because if you flip this and put women in front of men, now we would have a problem with it. We genuinely would. We can't say that we couldn't, because if I heard it, I'd be like, you're being sexist. If we're doing the same thing, we're being sexist. Like we are.
And people need to hear this because, like I said, we got to stop speaking from just our personal perspective. Like me, that brother who was talking about what he went through in the woman with the girl. I wouldn't have did that. But he's not like me, so I would rather give information that's more digestible by the average person. The average woman doesn't want to do these survival scenarios, so just to pretend to say it's possible just to get a point for the woman team is a power play more so than something beneficial for women, because women are hive-minded, that are, like even men. Doing these podcasts, you'll be surprised how many people will watch this and say, that's what it is, and it's not what it is. So why not speak from the general consensus and not just speak from these nuanced perspective? We just showed you a chart with damn near 99, not 94, 99% of most of those jobs were taken by men. What's the argument? There is no argument. And it's okay. It doesn't mean men are better than women, but why can't we be honest and say, hey, I know how to do a lot of stuff with my hands, but the average woman doesn't want to do that. That doesn't mean you're weak. It actually means you're strong, because admitting vulnerability is a strength. It's not a weakness.
What? Say that you can improve, that you can do these hard jobs. Like, what is the end goal of you proving that you can do all of these hard tasks that men can do? That
we're talking in this entire podcast, we've been talking about hypothetical situations, right? And that's what we're talking on. And then the moment that I say my opinion of a hypothetical situation, it's, oh, well, you hate men. I'm not talking about all men, and I'm not talking about, whether or not I value men in the work field.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about that.
Wait,
but
can I jump in really quick? So you said not all men, but you said even if the chance is 1%, I'm willing to throw 99% of men under the bus.
For the bear, for that, in that situation, because the only person I'm hurting is myself in that. I don't go around my daily life insulting men or being mean to men. But if I had the situation that was a hypothetical, I would choose that situation for myself. And that's perfectly valid for me to choose that for myself.
Sure.
That being said, I don't go around my daily life and demasculine, whatever it is that is this kind of narrative amongst feminists that we hate men. I love men, okay? I have no problem with men. That being said,
do you?
I don't think they said that either.
I have so many male friends. That being said, a random guy who I can't vet, who I don't know anything about, is very different from a friend. And
I want to say something real fast. Like, just because like you just pointed fingers at them, they just pointed fingers at you is what you thought. Like, it's hard to explain, but we're just sitting here pointing fingers at each other and trying to literally just claim the power. Like, that's good that women can do these hard jobs, but like, why is there such a big movement of all of the women doing all of the hard jobs and all of the women being able to do the masculine things? Like, what is the movement? What is like the behind like motive of it?
No one's trying to claim any power. We were just trying to answer a hypothetical question.
Yeah, well, she was saying that they were saying that you hate men, and you literally just said that they practically hated women. Right?
I don't think anyone said that we hated men or women.
I don't think you hate women.
I think the topics are very like kind of seeming to be like a little one-sided. Yeah. I do agree with her. These topics are very like one-sided. Like at a point where I'm just like, you know what? You got it. You got it. Be great.
Patriarchy wins.
At this point, I'm not even going. I'm just sitting back because it's like it's very one-sided. Like, have we even reversed roles to have us ask?
No.
It's too late now.
It's getting late at this point. We've been here for a while.
And everybody's a little antsy.
Just how she feels about like not choosing, like choosing the bear over the man is how you feel about women wearing provocative clothing and not choosing them.
Right.
That's what she's trying to say.
You have a valid opinion.
That is like.
But I'm saying you have a valid opinion, and that's your opinion. That's her opinion based. And you're basing that off of your experience.
So you have asked a question though multiple times, and that to me, and the question is, what is there to gain, or what is the end goal of women being able to do masculine jobs? And what I would say is the fact that women previously were not allowed in spaces to do those jobs meant that they didn't have the option.
Wait, which
and you have
jobs?
the option now, though. Luckily,
Yes, but now we have the option.
Okay,
So that is the end goal.
I just feel like we went out.
But we have the option now, so that's like the end goal.
The option, they're not picking it.
Wait, so you're saying women were like...
It's a power play.
You're saying like women, because of male sexism, they were barred from underwater welding? Is that your argument?
No, what I'm saying is, first of all, in some fields, women were not allowed to, yes, but in some fields, it was just, there were so many men, and also it was not socially acceptable, and we are seeing an uptick in women wanting to pick up those jobs. And I don't think that there should be this shouldn't be like a politicized or like crazy thing. It's just no matter what the sex, they want to do it.
Why are you attributing it to some like vague nebulous sexism on behalf of men? Like when it comes to a lot of these jobs, it has nothing to do with vague nebulous sexism. Women are just not physically capable of doing a lot of these jobs. Do you disagree?
I feel like majority of women don't want to do
they don't
these
want to
jobs.
do
I want to say I don't want to be a coal
Even if
miner.
they're-
Like I'm
even
not
if they
doing
were
that.
physically
Like I'm
capable,
definitely
they just
not
don't
doing
want
that.
to do the
But
job.
biologically too, have you taken anatomy and physiology or evolutionary medicine? Okay, yeah, because I have a degree in it and I work in it. And there is a physiological, fundamental difference in biological men and biological women. Just for the sake of this argument, how we regulate protein synthesis, how our literal bodies, our musculature, our physiology, our psychology, there is a natural adaptive advantage through evolution to serve the proof that they are better suited for a
Certain
lot
areas,
Like
just like we are
areas different. That's
suited
why they
for certain
separate them in
areas.
fucking sports for the Olympics. I mean, there is you.
Yeah.
That's why there's men's
fundamental.
sports and women's sports.
Hold on. Go ahead. You can answer to her. Go ahead.
No, I agree that we are. I agree with that statement. That being said, just because someone might be better suited because they're 6'6" and have more muscle on them doesn't mean that a woman can't also be capable. All of these hypotheticals was whether or not someone was capable
There
is
are
what I was
just
speaking
look.
to.
There are just
not
some,
whether or not it
look,
should.
So, yes, can some women do these jobs? Sure. But there are just some jobs that like might be physically available to say, I don't know, 50% of men, right? There's some men that can't do the jobs either, right? Like I couldn't do roofing. I'd probably like give up after a day, right? But if like, let's say only 50% of men can do it, well, that's still 50% of men. Whereas like, what if it's only like 0.01% of women have the actual physical capability of doing it?
And if
like-
it's that
such
small,
a
what's the
massive
point of bringing it
differential.
up? Outside of this one argument.
Because we were talking about hypotheticals and the situation of whether or not if women were capable to do those things. It's not that I'm saying more women, that I'm disagreeing with your statement that more men do these fields or that they're predominantly male
They're
fields.
more capable.
Yes. What I was saying is that women are still capable of doing that. And I don't understand why that is such a hot take.
It's not. We think women are capable of doing it.
We're
But
doing
it
it
is.
good, doing it well, or
but
just
we
doing
just-
it.
But not a lot of us.
But
do
that
it,
does
though.
not mean
That's
it's.
the problem. The argument.
We never said we wanted to do it.
That's not
Yeah.
what you guys
We never-
initially
What did we
said, though.
initially say? What did we-
Initially, you were saying it wasn't about being capable. It was about men can do this. This is what men are doing. Women cannot do that, and they don't want to do it. That was the argument. I'm listening. I'm
Thank
just sitting
you.
back and listening.
Thank you.
No.
We're not
I'm
saying that-
observing.
we're not
They wanna
saying
do it?
women want to do this.
But
We're
that
saying
wasn't the
some women are
initial
capable.
argument. You said that women were
some
capable,
women,
but there are
most-
some women.
Yes, but most women are not physically capable of doing it, and even if you add to the women who can do it, they don't want to do
And
it.
I
we weren't
agree with that,
arguing
but that was not the
against that.
original
I'm not.
argument.
Finish that. Damien, pull up the cockroach manhole video. Pull it up. Go ahead.
Oh, I see.
That sounds
Get
like
it
an
quick,
interesting video.
I think that's crazy.
All right, play it. Make it bigger, please.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
All right. Look, most women could have a little hose and start from the beginning, please. Just let it play through. Oh, come on. Like, there's more men. Like, a lot of women could get down into a manhole and do this. Yeah, so it's not even just about capability. It's about like willingness to do those jobs. Most women are not willing to do like the sort of gross, these sorts of jobs.
Yeah.
Men are.
What I was saying in these hypothetical situations was that if the world ended, that we would be able to do that. Not that we want to do that, not that I want to crawl into a manhole with a bunch of cockroaches, but I could potentially do that if my life depended on it, if civilization depended on it.
This world wouldn't be here if one race was there and the other one wasn't. So like, I just still don't understand the end
We-
goal of
how
it.
one is
We
needed more than
understand
the
that. It
other.
was just
Like,
a
we need each
hypothetical
other,
question
just
that we were
not
trying to
You could
answer.
do it,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
There was
We're not
no
trying to
winning
say-
here.
I don't think we're bashing you guys.
There is no
either.
winning in this circumstance, in this situation. We're strictly talking about hypotheticals and the fact of how these questions are worded to make it seem a little perhaps biased.
I mean, it's hypothetical to bring out actual logic. So hypothetically, it's a scenario, but the logic is really applied in real life, and it doesn't make sense. So take hypotheticals removed away from it. Would y'all women would want to do that?
I
Yes or
say
no?
the statistics were pulled up. It was like 90% of men did the men
So
job.
what's the point besides us? Because I've heard.
We
I
were
do that.
responding to your
Okay,
hypothetical
so take
question.
away that. Because someone bring
you
that
do,
up.
You do HVAC, right?
I'm certified for it, but I just do management now. I don't know if I do management, but it's a dirty job that some women are doing that, but they're doing it. Most of that I see are women that's, I'm not trying to be racist, but a lot of Mexican women are doing it with their husbands, so they have like a group business, so they're actually doing it with their man. The women that I know that are doing it on their own is because they have to. And they need money to take care of their children because they're single mothers. They have to, but they don't want to. And sometimes when women take on those jobs, they take on those jobs at the expense of their femininity. They become a lot more aggressive. They become a lot more masculine. So yeah, they're able to make money, but it's slowly declining their relatability to men. So it's like, yeah, they're doing it, but what's the end goal? What do they acquire from doing this outside of taking care of themselves economically? They're not happy. They're lonely. A lot of them are miserable, but they're just doing men's job. So even though women can do it, if it's such a small percentage of women doing it, to bring it up is irrelevant outside of just winning an argument.
In this hypothetical situation, there were no men, so why do we need to be feminine?
Huh?
Yeah,
Why do we have to be feminine?
Guys, I do want to move things
In your
on.
hypothetical situation.
We've been stuck on this for a while.
We've been stuck on this.
Like,